Yeah, this is going to go well. You ready? You ready? Yeah, check Chuffy 1 2. Yeah, busted. Yeah, check Chuffy 1 2. Look, busted. Whoa, busted. Whoa, exposed. We got him again. Exposed. We got him again. Busted. This is going to go well. Okay, let me see that I'm streaming and I'm live and you can hear me. Yeah. I sound like I'm live. And 1 2 check in chat. We've got Kooky Wookie, Slinky Socks, Debs, Lee, Dover and Dolly's Mum, Regardation, Police, 1-1 Maths, Victoria, Jojo. This is a Cheeky Chops, Enigma Star, Sonia. This is a bit of a random quick one. I've actually got family over, you know, and I might end up just hanging out with my family this evening. I was going to go on the main channel, but, you know, plans. But then Alan did this stream last night on... Okay, so let me get this clear. Let me get this straight for everyone who's just watching. Alan went live last night on his channel and did a Madeleine McCann episode and claimed to have worked really hard on it. I have found the channel that he stole all the content off. I have found the channel and I have found the comments that Alan has stolen the content off. Okay? He's completely busted. There's no getting away from this. He chose a 56 subscriber channel to steal from. I've found all the evidence. I'm going to show it you all tonight. He's 100% busted. He didn't work hard on his episode last night. He stole it all from somebody else. Completely stole it all from somebody else. He's a liar and a thief. Alan is a liar and a thief, okay? Totally stole it all from somebody else. I've busted him. There's no doubts on that. I've busted him, okay? And what was interesting last night, the reason I'm a little bit late tonight is because I was trying to find the bit in this stream where he said he worked really hard so that I could prove that he's busted. So I could say, look, he says he's worked really hard. He hasn't worked really hard. We might find it tonight through watching and reacting. I think this might be a bit of a short one. So also we might have a look at Alan and his... God, I've got so many windows open. First of all, we busted him singing with kids. On Smule. That kid's waving at him. That's live. We busted him singing with kids, okay? Busted. Taken to the clean. It's absolutely busted him doing that, okay? We busted him like this.
I've been arrested. They've checked my computer. I've done nothing wrong. There is no child porn on the internet. I hate to warn you that. There is no child porn on the internet. I checked.
He checked the internet for child porn. Busted. Busted. I want the spanners to watch this one. I bust him all the time. He's not that sharp. This one, it was an overnight job. Found him out. Pull his pants down on the internet. Give him a smack. That's what's happening now. It's time to bust Alan again. And then he's dropped another video about this MI5 bullshit. So we're going to have a little look at that as well towards the end. And Alan's stand-up comedy routine as well, which is fucking awful. So where do we start? Super Alan Armchair Detective, 25 million views, wonderful content creator, doing his Madeleine McCann episode last night. And he titled it... Let me get this right. Armchair Detective. Big ups Giles Kerr. Thank you for the £2 super chat. Actually, I should point that out, shouldn't I? Something went wrong. Okay, there he is. I should do my coffee.com. If you want to do the coffees, your page... We need to update your Twitch permissions. I'm not on Twitch right now. That's fine. Coffee.com, I get more of a cut, but I'm happy with everything. Thank you. Grateful for the super chats. If it works on your phone quicker to do a super chat, then just pop that little button, press the super chat button. If you've got some to share, I'm really grateful for it. I think I've worked a bit hard on what I do, whereas Alan doesn't. He's such a narcissist. He's prepared to completely cheat and lie, and we're going to completely expose him. So his episode last night, right? Get this. This is incredible. This is incredible. Okay, last night, McCann's abduction day, totally wrong. Jane Tanner slips up. Yeah? Slips up. Take a look at this. Jane Tanner's big slip up. And Matt Oldfield's check contradiction Madeleine McCann by Ab B, 56 subscribers, 5 years ago. What's this about, a football match, Jane? What's this about, a football match, Jane? The Tapas 7 wrote their timeline on the back cover of a sticker book on the night that Madeleine disappeared, and they even wrote that Matt only listened at the windows of the apartment. They even wrote that Matt only listened at the windows of the apartments. There's everything in one from what Alan did yesterday. What about a football match, Jane? And then you go to the comments. Okay, you read through a few comments. It turns out that there is a comment by Abby, who runs the channel. Jane says, if you had been looking at me, I would have said something because Kate had been moaning that you'd all been gone a long time watching the football. Hang right there. What football? There's no mention in the statements of Jerry being away watching football. And then there's 21 replies where people in the public point out that the football was on the Tuesday. No football of interest was on Thursday, only the Tuesday, like you say. Actually, there was UEFA Cup matches on the day that Madeline went abducted. There were UEFA Cup matches. Also, Evie was sick on the Tuesday. It's all here in these comments. All about the football, all about the contradictions. And this video, no offence to Ab B from 5 years ago, but this video isn't even Ab B's. I'm not dissing Ab B for this. People do this shit on the internet. This is uploaded. It was a documentary from Channel 4. I think it was Dispatches.
Took it in turns to make half-hourly checks on each other's children. Two of the group, Matthew Oldfield and Jane Tanner, both crucial witnesses, have returned to help Dave Edgar with the reconstructions.
So this whole bit of documentary footage, 9 minutes, that was cut out of, I believe it was Dispatches, from what I can remember, like from way back. They went with Jerry and Jane and they recreated, walking around outside, and there were inconsistencies, of course.
It's believed that Madeline
Big
was
ups
taken
HMRC
shortly
UK,
after her
£5 super
father's
chat.
check at 9 o'clock.
Thank you.
In the 45 minutes that followed, there were two significant sightings of a man carrying a young girl. The first was by Jane Tanner. She was looking in on her sick daughter when she saw Jerry returning from his check. He was talking to a friend, Jez Wilkins, at the side of the road.
Now, rather than go back over everything, let's just be really clear, right? There are bits of evidence and bits of evidence there. They did write down their timeline on the back of a fag packet, essentially, two different timelines. If you look into Jane Tanner's evidence, you can see the two different timelines. They're quite, like, if I search for it now, look, I'll just get it really quickly on the internet. It's old news, but Jane Tanner timelines, if I just do that, and then images, probably just get a picture of these two different timelines written on the fag packet. Sorry. What about McCann? Two timelines. Can I get an image of it? I'm surprised I'm not getting. Maybe it's because McCann's wipe all these things off the internet. But they did, didn't they? Look, here's one. See, totally found it straight away. They wrote down like what they thought the order of events was, and they did two different ones. When they were trying to, they said they did a brainstorming session and got together to try and decide who did what on the night and really make sure they knew what was going on. They wrote down two different ones there in the evidence. So this is what we've got tonight, is we've got the timelines don't match up because Jane Tanner was a bit confused, right? She was probably confused because she'd been drinking, and she said she saw someone at the end of the street. That later on turned out to be a doctor who was picking up his child from the creche. He was confirmed, he came forward, it was all sorted, okay? So there's no need to go back over this over and 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 over, is there?
However, Jane and Jerry remember the scene differently.
See, I think you were about here. And I think you were standing like that, and Jez was there with his pram pointing down that way.
Because I don't really care what Jane Tanner says. What I care about is the fact that after Madeline died in the apartment, which was pretty clear because of the blood under the tiles, when all this stuff now, right, we've got to shout out someone that Alan also, we've got to shout out someone else that Alan is also referencing. Armchair detective versus, if I just put that, will it bring it up? Recently there was a video by, and I want to get his name right. Oh, it's going to annoy me if I can't find it now, isn't it? Filters. See, I had to get this video together really quick at the last minute. Family around and stuff, but let's say this week. He did a video refuting Armchair detective stuff. He is called, there's a YouTuber who does lots of Madeline McCann stuff. Alan has been watching his content and using it for content. Why isn't it bringing it up? It's going to annoy me now. There it is, James Bogart. Madeline McCann, James Bogart versus the Armchair Detective. So James Bogart has made lots of videos about what happened to Madeline McCann, and Alan has been saying the things that James Bogart has been saying recently, basically. And they're not, again, like, no offence to James here, but I agree with a lot of the stuff, because I've said it in the past as well. It's really straightforward, really, isn't it? That he disguised that he was taking Madeline and disposing of her, but Mr. Smith down the road saw him. These other sightings are all phantoms and nothing. The major evidence is the cadaver dogs and the sighting down by the beach by Mr. Smith. Other evidence comes into it, but you know, it's Madeleine McCann case. It's a bit of a while old. This is the video from the YouTuber that Alan has stolen. So let's just be clear about this before we watch Alan's content. Alan's content. This is Abby. She's got 56 subscribers. It's a 5-year-old video, right? So it's unlikely that she's going to be on this and spot that he's doing it. If I just check on her channel now, Abby videos. Last one that uploaded was 4 years ago. But there's a few McCann ones here that Alan thinks he can ravage. So this is Alan's next 5 episodes lined up here. You know? But this is what he's stolen it from. Abby. Long ago, not used YouTube. Probably not going to be able to, you know... They're probably not going to end up... fuck off. They're probably not going to end up copyright strike... Why do you keep playing? They're probably not going to end up copyright striking him, right? And the thing that's copyright is actually Dispatch's Channel 4, so he's probably going to get away with that as well. Karen Tree Birch, $2.99 super chat. Thank you. But the main thing, the big important thing is that I've busted him. I know where this video has come from. Abby, 56 subscribers. I know where Alan's opinions have come from. What's this about a football match, Jane? And then in the comments down here, let me just say it, I'm repeating it, but I'm saying it twice so that anyone who's just come in the room can just get this clear. Jane, if you'd been looking at me, I would have said something. Hang on, what about football? There's no mention in the statements of football. In the comments, they talk about the fact that the football match didn't happen. It's a different day. Then they talk about the timelines on the back of the fag packet. That's all in here, yeah? And what Alan's done for his content is to completely rape that and ravage it. And that's okay if you want to just do an episode and say, look, I found this video by Abby and she said all this interesting stuff. This is a documentary that was on the mainstream television in the UK. So everyone in the UK has seen this in the past and it's all been talked about in the mainstream. And I'm now going to bring it to you about 5 years later to make a bit of an interesting episode as part of our study group. That's okay. But to lie and pretend that you did some hard work and found out some information and brought something new to the table 5 years later and to steal someone else's content, that's deplorable. And that's why I want the Spanners to see this one more than anything. I was going to call it Spanners, Hey Spanners. I wish they could see this and understand. Put everything aside. Put everything aside. Just take it from what, like, the bare facts, not what I think of Alan and personalities and any of that. Alan stole this content. He told you he worked hard on it. And he didn't, he stole it. And anything he can, you know, he's lying to your faces, grinding and grifting for money, and it's someone else's work. And you don't even give him the respect of saying that's where he found it. Big ups ACW. Thank you.
ACW sent tippies for grafting against grafting. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thank you for the 3 hugs, thank you. Thank you. Oosh for grafting against grifting. Here we go. He's a liar.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name's Alan. I am the Armchair Detective. And
your name might be Alan. Ronald. Your name might be Alan. Was that your first name given at birth? Who knows these days because you lie about so much. You are not an armchair detective. You're not even in a proper armchair and you're not a detective.
there. As you know, we run a number of study groups here.
Scams.
We're quite a popular channel. We've had
Not a popular channel at all. Dead.
25 million views.
Managed to use the YouTube algorithm and clickbait to get some views, trying to like squeeze views out of a trending murder case. That's what you've done, Alan. You've managed to get lucky a couple of times on the old YouTube algorithm, which as it refines over the years, weeds out shit like you.
So far in our career, thanks to our spanners who run a really friendly chat where you can come and have a conversation, and hopefully we have no aggression or backbiting or smashing other channels to bits.
I've smashed you to bits. I've smashed your back door in. You're the equivalent of someone who's just arrived in prison on a nonce charge, put in the fucking wrong wing by mistake. You're tied to a prison bunk getting your back pipes smashed in by burly gangsters. That's you. That's you on YouTube now. You were nothing. You just admitted it. You got smashed in. He's feeling bad for himself on this one. He got smashed in.
Chat where you can come and have a conversation.
On this one, right? On this one, because we laid into him heavy over the last couple of days, and I was going to give it a bit of a break. I'm getting a bit bored of Alan, but this one really has to be covered because it's just such flagrant theft. Alan watched some of our content, the leading up to it, and he really felt a bit good about his Nicola Bully video and stuff like that, and it all was shit, and we ripped into him, and he's feeling it because he knows it's the truth.
And hopefully we have no aggression or...
No aggression. You see? Pussied out. Cowered out. He had a load of aggression before, didn't he?
Raining again.
He had loads of aggression when he was calling his son.
Grandmaster Sid Sophos sent tippies. Scott, get in there, man. As the legend Brian Clough would say,
Brian Clough.
I wanna have a word with Vinnicombe. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
I want to have a word with Vinnicombe. I don't know if I can do a very good Brian Clough. Brian Clough. I want... Hang on, he's not Manchester, is he? I want to have a word with... Oh, forget it. Look, he's Yorkshire, isn't he, Brian Clough? Hang on. Look, anyway, look, rather than me trying to do impressions, Brian Clough was brilliant. Have you seen the one where everyone's seen the one where he punches his own fan? The fans invade the pitch in celebration. He runs over and punches one of his own fans. Get off the pitch.
Backbiting or smashing other channels to bits.
You've been smashed to bits.
I couldn't think of a more boring thing to sit here every night talking about other channels.
I could think of one thing more boring than that, Alan, which is to sit there every night and talk about murder cases from 5 years ago, stealing other people's content to just try and grift some views off some old ladies in America who are quite wrapped up in the murders of children, and you manipulate their feelings to try and gain some grifty money. Like, I could think that's probably slightly more boring. I could something else more boring, Alan, is to play poker on a constant regular, pouring your money into a black hole, pissing the money away on poker. That'd be quite boring, wouldn't it? Sitting in a room with you, Alan, would be boring, although no one will stand for it. So they don't, do they, Alan? But your life must be pretty fucking boring, because look at what you're doing. And what we're doing is making entertainment, comedy. We have memes, we have laughs, we have larks, we have comedy songs. Check out the new songs on the artificial intelligence side of things by Jamie and Regardation Police. Unfortunately, I can't play them live on the stream because it's going to get me done for copyright. But,
It's
like,
raining
absolute
again.
bangers.
I couldn't be happier.
Big ups.
Body
Look, these people
sculpture
are having
sent
fun, Alan.
tippies.
It's not boring.
Hey Scott, watched last night's on Catch Up, got Nicola Bully to watch. This Alan Saville is the ultimate beast, every week has doing more and sicker stuff. Pedo hunters need to go after him now. He's hiding behind YouTube to pedo these kids on the net. Let's take him down.
True that.
Super Chuffer owes 5 hugs.
True that. That was the massive theme of the last one, wasn't it? He's hiding behind the fact that he's pretending to do crime cases so he can look at pictures of kids.
Never do that. I am an investigative channel.
An investigative channel. What have you been investigating? What you found picking out your own arsehole? Alan, the only thing you investigate is when you get your finger up your bum and have a good pick and pull something out. You didn't what you investigate is where other channels are on YouTube that have done videos about things 5 years ago that no one can remember, that you can dig out and pretend is your own research. That's what you've investigated. You're a thief, and that's a liar. There's a liar there. Investigative channel.
We investigate true crime. Mainly.
Investigate true crime by reading the newspaper out loud on the internet, by playing the news, and by ravaging other people's content to say is your own. There's no investigation.
Code cases.
Apparently there was a moment last night where he looked like he had a TIA or a stroke. He edited it out afterwards. Damn it, I can't believe I missed that. I hope someone caught it as a clip.
And there's no case I've investigated more than the Madeleine McCann case.
There's no case I've investigated more than the Madeleine McCann case. That's because you've investigated a total of 5 cases. Investigated a total of like 5 cases. When you say you investigated more, you mean other people investigated it, like Richard D. Hall, and then you ravaged their content. Like, that's what you mean. You mean like James Bogart investigated it, read through all the case files, brought out... You mean the Madeleine McCann study group that Lizzie was in? They investigated it, translated all the stuff from Portuguese, and you just fucking stole it and put it on the internet.
Now, I know a lot of our supporters are in America.
I'll tell you something else as well. Lizzie's in that group with the people that hate me, yeah? Like, I don't know why, like, it is like it is, but it is like it is, okay? But Lizzie's still good, yeah? I still think Lizzie's done good work. So fuck that group who hate me, but I'm going to shout out Lizzie. You steal her content and all of the people around her who put in the hard work to make it. Like, you're known for it, Alan. You're known for it.
They really were the case. Some know a little, some know a lot. And I know you're a mixed bag tonight. Some of you are only interested in the Watts case. Some of you are interested in the bully case. But hardly any of you are only interested in the McCann case. So it's a sort of a neutral subject tonight.
What does that even mean? Some of you like the bully case, but only the bully case. Some of you like the Watts case, but only the Watts case. And none of you only like the McCann case. So let's do that. A TIA is like a small fainting episode, like a mini stroke. It's not a proper stroke. It's like a fainting event.
I'm going to change something in your perception of what went on. And I'm talking about May the 3rd. Thursday, May the 3rd. When
I'm going to change something about your perception of what went on. So you're going to manipulate their minds then, are you, Alan, to change their perceptions? Is that what you're doing? That's what you think you're good at. And let's remember, this is something that was broadcast on the mainstream news, the mainstream television, yeah, recorded, put up on YouTube years ago. This was a proper production with Jerry McCann and Jane Tanner, you know, the proper people and proper TV crews went out to Portugal. They did a recreation session. This guy was running the show. It was like a documentary series thing, like an investigative journalist thing, and it was on the television, and they talked about it. And then Alan's going to pretend that he's found it and discovered it and that it's new, and he's going to change your perception. If you didn't know stuff about the Madeleine McCann case, Alan can, if he wants, bring evidence to show you and say this is where it's from. But to bring it to the case and say like he's discovering things is fucking disgusting.
she was so-called abducted. I don't believe she was. And I believe tonight I can prove it. And we will have a survey at the end, and I'll try to remind me to do a poll.
We will have a poll. It's really funny when he does the poll. What's really interesting as well is that what he seeks to prove today, which is that Jane Tanner's statement either relates to the day before when the football was on, or the day after when the football was, sorry, the day before it would have to be, wouldn't it? Because the day after they were searching for Madeleine. The day before when the football was on, or she's mistaken about the days and the football, and then she might be mistaken about the sighting. All it proves is it throws her statement into doubt. Okay, that's all it proves. It doesn't prove anything about Madeleine and her disappearance. It just proves that Jane Tanner is not a reliable witness. But then not many witnesses are reliable. Not really reliable. We looked into it when we did What is Evidence, the Nicola Bulley case. We did an episode on Super Chuffer about evidence, reliability of witnesses and stuff like that. So what he does tonight is he spends an hour and a half breaking down somebody else's notes and basically saying something that doesn't really make a difference.
At the end, not now, because you need to hear the evidence first. I will remind me to do a polecack near the end, so we find out if I convince people.
And you know, I have to speed him up.
I'm pretty sure I'm right. Now you've got to remember, I spent hundreds of thousands of hours on this.
Hundreds of thousands of hours, right? Wait, let me just take that into. Let me look. Hundreds of thousands of hours, right? How many hours in a year? I know he's not. Oh, I wasn't being exact. 8,700 hours in a year, yeah? How many hours in 10 years? 80,000. So to do 100,000 years, sorry, 100,000 hours, 1,203,000 hours in years is 11 years. Full time, 24 hours a day. So Alan has not done hundreds of thousands of hours. He hasn't even done hundreds of thousands of hours fucking masturbating. Like, he's not done hundreds of thousands of hours. That's a complete massive hyperbole exaggeration. Oh, he's never gonna, it's a figure of speech. He's never gonna, yeah, I get it, Robert, it's a figure of speech, but come on. Like, he's trying to make out like he's done loads of work, whereas the truth is, he's done no work. No work. None work behind the scenes. He opened up a Facebook group, turned on the camera, started reading from the Facebook group. He hasn't ever seen it before. No work. Everyone else has done the work. Alan is the boy at school that when you come to school and he hasn't done his homework, he asks you, can I have your book? Can I have your book? Can I copy your homework? Then he copies the homework and he says, look, I've done hundreds of thousands of hours work on this. He's never even read it before. That's Alan. Thief.
And I have a pretty much basic brick by brick understanding of what went on that day. But I'm going to concentrate on Jane Tanner's sighting. And it's amusing.
He did that little smile then.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier. Swish and then swoosh.
Big ups, Grandmaster Sid.
Grandmaster Sid Sophos sent tippies. Just want to update everyone on something. I am a Tottenham Hotspur supporter and frequent games at the stadium, and a few rows down where I sit is former police DCI Colin Sutton, and the man has told me personally that he doesn't want to have anything to do with Alan Vinnicombe. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Big ups. Colin Sutton hates Alan Vinnicombe. We'll look into that if we get through this.
It's amusing to think that Jerry took Jane Tanner and Russell O'Brien over there to do a reconstruction of the night.
Jerry didn't take them over there. The investigative reporter put it together, I think. You know, the news team and the channel. I don't think Jerry said, hey, well, he might have done. He might have been desperate to try and find Madeleine. But I think you might have those facts confused.
And the sighting of Tanner Man. Now, Tanner Man is called Tanner Man because only Jane Tanner saw the guy, right? Jane Tanner purported to see a guy that she just...
He's called that because either the mainstream media or Richard D. Hall, you know, the coined names for these characters in this play, you know, because we all know there's the truth that Jerry went off with Madeleine, disposed of her body, yeah, hid her, and then later on went and he moved her and disposed of her. You know, we know that, right? But then the whole mainstream media, I don't want to go over and over this, but they conjured up a load of smoke and mirrors, paid for halfly by the Madeleine McCann Fund and the News of the World and all those people. You know, they just made up loads of stories so they could sell papers. They're still doing it to this day. Anytime that Boris Johnson is cronies and, like, you know, Richie Sunak makes another 3 million and fucks over another, like anytime they wanted, I don't know, like they could have done it today. They fucked over, the House of Lords said no, but they were trying to say, forget water regulations, more building, don't worry if they pollute. And the House of Lords said no. But if that had tried to go through, they could have said, oh, we've seen Madeleine McCann with Christian Bruckheimer in Germany, quick, look over there. You know, so there's all this smoke and mirrors, all these sightings, all these different phantoms, people call them, when they're talking about the Madeleine McCann case. And let's give him his fucking flowers. Richard D. Hall did a massive series. Alan, you deserve a punch on the nose for this. Richard D. Hall did a massive series where he went through all the different phantom characters and all the different ideas, went deep on all the different people, the profiles, the Tanners, all these people. You know, like the phantoms and the Tanner Man, that comes from that. It comes from the mainstream media and it comes from Richard D. Hall.
Described as Tanner Man. Now, the Portuguese police discredit it as lies and fantasy, and they don't believe it at all. The UK police finally discredited it in 2013, 10 years later. There was no Tanner Man.
There was?
No, I'm going to prove it. First of all...
No. Are you fucking stupid? And you might be just full on fucking stupid at this point. McCann cited... Hang on, I need this on Google. Maybe I should just get... hang on. McCann citing... carrying crash. Doctor comes forward. The best place for me to do this would actually be to really quickly go to... I've got so many fucking windows open. Would actually be quick... Or should I just say it? Right, basically, there was a sighting of this man carrying this child. It turned out to be a doctor. He came forward later on. He was actually verified as actually being a real person that went to pick up his child and carried them. They were asleep when he got to the crash, and he carried them home from the crash. There was a sighting of a real person carrying a real child.
I'm going to show you the footage without me showing what went wrong. So for those of you who don't know the case, they've gone back to do a reconstruction. It's led by a private detective that the McCanns paid for. And
again, what we've got here, if you look real... This is busting Alan, remember, that's what I'm doing today. Busting Alan for being a liar and a thief. And it really is, you know, whatever you think about me and Alan and the story and what I've said about him and whether he's a pedo, and because we did bust him singing with kids on Smule, you know, that really did happen. He really was with those kids live on Smule. That was live. It really did happen. But whatever you think of that, what about this for content? Look. You can see 13th of September 2023 in the top left-hand corner. That's because
gone back
Alan
to their own
has uploaded his video to YouTube, and instead of giving it a name, he uploads videos to YouTube. They're unlisted, you can't see them, and he uses them to watch on his channel. A bit like what I did with that video that I put on Send Trees that he stole and used for his content and uploaded to his channel. So this is a video he's edited, that he's put onto his channel unlisted. Okay, he's named it 13th of September 2023, but underneath, you can see there's something else, can't you? From the screen record that he's taken this video from. Says something of Madeline ... Like, I don't know if it's this exact file, but like maybe it's something that's on his screen when he's recorded it, but he's screen recorded something else. You can see, ripped it from somewhere else. He's not gone to the video. Like, if I was doing this, or any of us were doing this, I should say, actually, the correct way to do this would be to say, here's a video that we're going to watch. It's uploaded by AB here on their YouTube channel. Let's take a watch, and then later on people can go over and watch it and find it, and it's there. And that's why with the video that I uploaded to Sand Trees, I didn't want it on my main channel because it was a video of Paul Ansell that was basically the copyright of Channel 5, but I edited out all the stuff I didn't want and just edited the stuff I did. And I said, there it is if anyone wants to watch and use the video to look at, and like, you know, there it is. You don't just take it and upload it to your channel. Then you don't have to give any credit or even a view to this channel when you're doing it on live. Like, it's just disgusting. This is AB who uploaded this. Fuck you, Alan, and you're cheating and you're grifting.
Instruction. Now, it needs to be said that the tapas, however many there is, I think it's more than 9.
7.
Because there was
9
others there as well.
including
They told you
McCann's.
about, like, oh, the tapas 8, the tapas 5, the tapas 6. There were others that they kept secret. There are other tapas players from Exeter
Players.
that were not called tapas, but they were there with them. Okay, so that's for another day. But all the tapas people refused to go back to do a reconstruction. Every one of them made a stupid excuse. Oh, it wouldn't be worth it. They all said to do anything to help Madeline. None of them, when asked, would go back and do a reconstruction, including the parents. They all refused. How can you refuse that poor little girl's
Jerry's there
chances
right now.
of survival?
Jerry's there in the video doing a reconstruction.
By refusing to do a reconstruction at the time. And to this day, there's never been a reconstruction. Which there needs to be because of their so-called half-hour, quarter-hour checking system. There needed to be a reconstruction. They never did it. But McCann thought it'd be wise to promote Tanner's sighting of Tannerman. So he sort of organised it. And you can see from the picture here, all the people in the background, they were going to do a reconstruction, afraid to lose. And this is it. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to let you watch it and I'll spoil it later.
Okay, so you just said that Jerry refused to do a reconstruction, but then Jerry organised a group of people to go and do a reconstruction, and here it is. So it's a bit weird, but yeah, fine. And then, as he says, he's not going to spoil it, meaning he's just going to play. Like, what Alan loves to do is just play the content, because then he doesn't have to do any talking, does he? Doesn't have to do any, like, he just sits there and lets somebody else's content run. Copyright content from years ago off the telly. And then what he does is he explains that the football was on, right? Now, this is Alan's big amount of work that he's done. The football was on, look, Chelsea, Liverpool, Champions League, Madeline McCann. So if we do Chelsea, Liverpool, Champions League, 2007, like that, and then you get the Wikipedia, I imagine, yeah, and then you go down and 2007, 2008, Chelsea versus Liverpool. This page is archived and no longer publicly editable. Okay. Where's the one that he's reading from? Like, I'm on the wrong page. This is Wiki News, not Wikipedia. What's going on? Maybe. Right, there we go. There we go. I was going to say maybe it is a bit more difficult than I thought. No, it's not. It's here. It's all here. Like, on the internet, Wikipedia. You scroll down to the bit about the final and you just read it. And like Alan said, like, what he's essentially done is he's put together their timeline with the timeline of the football, and this proves things, but it doesn't prove things because the football's on a different day, isn't it? And so by having Wikipedia out and by being able to open up a visual file that has their timeline on it and open up the Wikipedia and just look at them, that's I just did it there. I opened up Wikipedia. It's 5 minutes work, if that, and it proves nothing because they weren't. She didn't go missing on the day of the football.
Of course, Jerry and his friend could also have seen this because they're in the road, right? They didn't see it. They didn't see it. She did. there was football being played when Maddie went missing that week. Champions League semi-finals.
Semi-final, so
Jerry
that's why I
loves
didn't
football.
find the
He's
wiki.
a doctor at Celtic. And Kate's a big Everton fan. She's from Liverpool. So, as we can see here, Maddie went missing, age 3.
This is the Wikipedia. You can see because it's got the citations with the 5 and the 6. So, as you can see here, by reading Wikipedia on Alan's channel with him, yeah.
When she was left on her own with her younger children.
Skip.
Now, I won't go into the dogs and all that tonight. It's more about the sighting. Find the children into the school.
Skip.
Well, there's a thing called the Champions League every year. Man City won it a few months ago, if you remember. It's the biggest tournament in the world. It's like, to beat the Champions League, European champions, it's worth hundreds of millions.
Skip.
So in the semi-finals, was 3 English teams out of 4, believe it or not. Chelsea versus Liverpool was 1.
Reading it, look, you can literally see he's reading it off Wikipedia.
And that was played the week before the holiday.
Skip.
And there it is.
He's talking about
So,
the lead up
I
to the
would take a
Champions League
punt,
final
yeah.
to fill time. Get to the point.
Jerry would be interested in both games. So that was it. That's the game he wanted to see. I do believe he wanted to see that game. And it went into extra time and penalties. Now, that's because it's a draw. You have to play extra time. So it went on late. That's important.
Is it?
Bear with me on this. Liverpool won it on penalties, which means like extra time and then penalties. So the game wouldn't finish till way after 10:30.
This is annoying now. Like, what? So what's been done is in the comments of the video that Alan stole from. This is the video Alan stole from. In the comments, they discussed the football. They discussed that the football is inaccurate because she says, Jane Tanner says there was a football match. You were late watching coming back from the football. Let me play you the exact clip.
Was there with his pram pointing down that way. Because I think if you'd have been looking at me, because I would have said something, because I would have said about, because Kate had been moaning that you'd been gone a long time watching the football.
I'm almost certain that when I came out, I came over and he was...
Kate had been moaning, saying you'd been gone a long time watching the football. Yeah. And we're saying that the semi-finals of the football, Liverpool-Chelsea, this football match was in April, right? And Madeleine McCann went missing. It was May the 7th, wasn't it? Hang on, let me get this right. 3rd of May 2007, right? 3rd of May 2007, Madeleine McCann went missing. This football match he's been talking about happened in April. End of April. So a few days before, so not the day that Madeleine went missing. And if you want to just quickly Google up the date and football, you can see that on this particular day when Madeleine McCann went missing, Werder Bremen played Espanyol and Sevilla played Osasuna, I can't pronounce it, on the 3rd of May, and this was in the UEFA Cup. So there would have been football on the telly at the tourist resorts, especially as Spain and Portugal are very close next door. It would have been UEFA Cup semi-finals. Okay? So I'm a bit confused as to why Alan's confusing me with this semi-final match from Liverpool and Chelsea. Let's get back to him. And also, let's be clear about this as well, right? As well, just to make sure. So, 3rd of May. What about the 2nd of May, which could have been the day before? Football matches. There was the Champions League, Milan and Man United. And Jerry was quoted as saying that he watched Man United. I think the words Man United came up in some of the reports. So it's that football match that she's getting confused with. The day before the Champions League, Milan, Man United. Yeah? That's what she's confused with. Kate was cross because you were late back watching the football. They'd been to a bar in the town to watch the football. And he was late back the day before Madeleine went missing. Milan, Man United. Okay, back to Alan. And he's like, that content that I've just described to you comes from these comments on this video that he's stolen this video from. Okay, so I really think Alan is a little bit confused, but let's go and see what Alan's talking about.
The Champions League every year. Man City won it a few months ago. If you remember, it's a bit like Shanann's mum called herself Honorati, and you know.
Hang on, I missed that bit. I didn't know that he did this. He brought Shanann's mum into it.
Healy. She used to call herself Healy when she signed the children into the school. It's a bit like Shanann's mum called herself Honorati, and you know, it's weird, isn't it? I don't get it. Bruce Honorati, McCann, Healy. Why don't people call themselves by their name? That's a side issue. I don't understand it. Nothing to do with the what's case, of course. But
Wow.
women refusing to call themselves their husband's name. I don't know why.
Weird women.
So that week, now I'm appealing to football fans here, and you're mostly women, and you probably know nothing about football.
Because you're stupid women.
Especially in 2007. Well, there's a thing called the Champions League every year. Man City won it a few months ago, if you remember. It's the biggest tournament in the world. It's like, to beat the Champions League, European champions, it's worth hundreds of millions of pounds.
All you have to say is, it's the Champions League final, the European Cup final. Move on.
So everybody that goes on holiday, they want to see these games, yeah? Wherever you're in the world, you want to see them.
Yeah.
And funny enough, they were on that week. The semi-finals were on that week. Early May. So I need you to write that down. 2007. The final was between Liverpool and Milan. But that wasn't until later in the month. What we're looking at is the semi-finals. So in the semi-finals...
Big ups, Jessica, yeah, Scottish football, yeah, because he was Scottish. Yeah. That website I searched up all the football. It brought up the Finnish football and everything. It was those were the games that were on while they were on holiday that we just looked at.
Was 3 English teams out of 4, believe it or not. Chelsea versus Liverpool.
This was
one.
April the 30th.
And that was played the week before the holiday.
Yeah. The week before the holiday.
So we've got Chelsea versus Liverpool.
Okay, so Chelsea versus Liverpool the week before the holiday, right?
They're strong football people, these mechanics.
Second legs on the 1st and 2nd of May. Oh, I didn't notice that, the second leg. So it was second legs on 1st and 2nd of May 2007. Am I tripping there, right? Okay, let me get that in. Let me get that in my brain. So we've got Wednesday the 2nd. Champions League. Well, we just said that, didn't we? Champions League, Wednesday the 2nd. Milan, Man United. You all right, meowing? All right, see, Alan and now the cat messing with me and me having to concentrate on chat. Alan gets me confused because he's a gaslighting, confusing bastard. So what's he trying to say here? Let me get this right and straight. So we.
And there it is.
So what's on the 1st of... What do you mean, there it is? What's on the 1st of May? First of May was Liverpool-Chelsea, second leg. 1st of May. So Madeline disappears on the 3rd. The 3rd of May is the UEFA Cup stuff. The day before she goes missing is Man United. The day before that, the 1st of May, 2 days before Madeline goes missing, is Liverpool-Chelsea. Got ya. Okay, got ya.
Semi-finals. Second legs. I just missed that. Right, so the second legs. Put that again. You need to note the second legs. Right, the second legs.
Yeah, skip now.
So I would take a punt that Jerry would be interested in both games.
Okay, so you think Jerry's watching this football?
Way after 10:30.
The game was late. It went on late.
Liverpool won it on penalties. Which, as you see here, Liverpool. So we've got 7.
He goes through the entire fucking game, look. First half, 47 minutes plus 15-minute half-time break. Second half, 8:47.
So the second half starts at 9:15.
Okay. This is 2 days before Madeline went missing, yeah.
Now, bearing in mind, Jerry went to do his check at 9:10.
Jerry went to do his check at 9:10. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Alan? Jerry didn't go to do a check at 9:10. This is 2 days before Madeline went missing. No one's been reporting what they did checking on Madeline 2 days before. Big ups, Ed. Hands up, I was wrong, you were right about him. Big ups, Ed, thank you. Big ups for the tippy there, for the £2 super chat, thank you. I mean, it's not really like a fight about, like, you know, fighting people for who was right and wrong. Like, Alan is convincing at first, but really, that's what con men do, you know, that's what grifters do, is they're convincing at first. And I'm not, like, cross at anyone who's in his team for a bit. Like, it's just like, I'm cross at him. And it's really clear today that he's stolen this content and now he's doing an Alan, which is to take the core content. Thank you for the super chat. You're very welcome here to enjoy all the wonderful content we do here, and on the other channels I do, like Super Chuffer for you, other stuff as well. He's taken the content from Abby and he's gone in the comments and he's read and found this football thing. I mean, it's the main point that she makes in her description about the football match was on a different day, and then he's now spinning a narrative, a false narrative about the events of the Champions League semi-final between Liverpool. And if Jerry did go down to the sports bar in town and watch it, and Kate was cross because he came home late, he's not checking on Madeline at 9:15 because he's down in the town at the sports bar. And if you watch properly what James Bogart said, James Bogart's got the accounts of the people in the town who said that they were down the town watching the football the days before. Like, you know, these are facts in the case, but Alan is taking some facts and then making up some other bullshit. Jerry's not supposed to be checking on Madeline at 9:15 during this game. This is 2 days before she went missing.
Then we get the full time. Full time was 9:35.
Right. Oh, poor John Terry.
He left.
Rapist.
Started at 10:10.
Oh God, that'll get me done for copyright and not suitable now, won't it? Anyway, look, he goes right into all the details.
And I found out how long the penalties took.
You found out how long the penalties took by watching a YouTube video and assuming that the edited YouTube video is the exact same length of time as the penalties, which is stupid.
Seems to take 5 penalties, and it lasted 5 minutes.
5 penalties, 5 minutes, exact. It says 4:18 there, but what you did is you watched a YouTube video of the penalties and then you added it onto your time, just the edited time.
So I was able to put 5 minutes onto the time.
But you didn't have to do that because it's all been recorded exactly by UEFA and is available on their websites and on Wikipedia.
This has never been done as accurate as this.
It's never been done, right? It's never been done as accurate as this, says Alan. The recording of the time of the penalties in the European Champions League final has never been done as accurately as this. Before Alan came along and looked at a video and added it onto the time that it said at the end of the match on the thing, no one knew when the penalties had been taken. The day, 2 days prior to Madeline's disappearance.
You're seeing something for the first time here. I know exactly what time it finished. Liverpool win the trophy at 10:15. 10:15.
And?
Okay. Remember our friend Mrs. Fenn?
Yeah, there was a report. This is exactly right. There's a report of a lady who said they heard a child crying the days prior to, and it's again all in James Bogart. All in James Bogart is the child was crying. They were out at the sports bar in town. You know, she had a child crying late, and they got back later. Yeah.
1st of May, when this game was going on, she was at home alone. When in 10:30, it seems that Maddie woke up crying. And it wasn't the babies, it was poor little Maddie shouting for her daddy.
Why didn't you come when I called? Yeah.
A little bit after that.
Next.
About 11:45.
This is all, you should see, this is all from the case files that are available on the internet, yeah? Like, this isn't new news. Other people have put their stuff, like, gone through it, brought it out in YouTube videos. Alan's been watching them. Got it. Understand. Yeah.
Parents came back. Where were they till 11:45?
Out at that sports bar.
Man United getting thrashed 3-0, watching the football. I had a good authority that all of them were out in the town watching the football.
You have it on good authority. You have it on good authority. Do you mean James Bogart said it in his video and recently shouted you out in a video, calling you out, and then you went and watched his stuff? Is that what you mean? Because we can do that. If that's what you want, Alan, we can do that. James, if you're watching, which sometimes you do, do another one of these. You know, pointing it out. Look, here it is. This is James. Look, let's just see what James has got to say.
So, Mrs. Fenn heard sliding doors and stuff, okay? But she heard nothing on that night. Yet, Mr. McCann went and checked on Maddie. One of their friends went and checked on Maddie. Mrs. McCann went and checked on Maddie. Yet, Mrs. Fenn heard none of these checks.
Saying to his subscribers that the floors were made of paper, you know, implying that, of course, Mrs. Fenn would have to hear everything. Where did he get the idea that the floors are made of paper? Does he know the building plans?
There you go, calling him out on something that I hadn't thought to call him out on. Good one, James. But I know, because if you look at this, if you look at the videos that James has done here, I'll scroll down. The red ones, Madeleine McCann's, I've watched them all. Now, you can't see the red bar on the bottom, actually, because it's red. But I've watched them all. And I don't like... shouts out to James here. This is... Me and James both suffer with this. We do content, and it's great content, James's stuff. But I couldn't tell you which video here is the one where he said the thing, because of the way it's labelled. And it's nicely organised, 1 to 20 something. You know, nicely organised. But... what Alan does is he takes your video, and the same with me and my long form stuff, because I do like 3 hours, I say loads of stuff during it, and Alan will take the one bit and he'll say, McCann's were at dinner, proved. And your video doesn't say that, but it is that video. Do you know what I mean? One of these videos is all about how they were down in the town, and the locals, you know, reported it. Basically, all that information is there on James Bogart's channel, and you can't tell me, right, that if Alan Armchair Detective has seen these videos come up made by James calling him out, like Alan's watched those videos, yeah, and then he's gone, oh, hang on, thanks very much, I'll have that, this is next week's episode for me, I'll do that. Thank you very much. That's what he's done. What's going on with that tongue? Alan sticks his tongue out because he's a con man and a grifter, and he's in the process of lying and cheating. Look, here, hang on, just for anyone that hasn't seen this.
Once I was 7 years old.
That kid was waving at him. Look at his creepy smile. He's got his phone in his hand down there on his lap. Like, you know, he's not doing a song like, oh, I'm going to record myself doing a song on the thing with my phone up like this. Hello, it's me doing a song. He's got his phone down there on his lap. Like, we're down there on the desk. Like, down there. What's he doing down there? Live on the internet with a kid. And how he knows.
Been arrested. They've checked my computer. I've done nothing wrong. There is no child porn on the internet. I hate to warn you that. There is no child porn on the internet. I checked.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Content thief.
Man United getting thrashed 3-0. Let's just go back a bit. 2nd of May. Okay? So, Man United lost on the 2nd of May. On the 1st of May was the crying incident. So Liverpool played on the 1st of May, right? And Man United on the 2nd. Jerry McCann would be interested in both these games. He would have moved heaven and earth to see those games, right?
He would have moved heaven and earth to have seen those games.
So
Field and Jane Tanner, both crucial witnesses, have returned to help Dave Edgar with the reconstructions.
So let's move it on a bit. Now we play the bit where she says, I thought you were late back for watching the football.
No, I'll tell you the truth about it.
And Alan will tell us the truth
believed
about
that Madeleine
it.
was taken shortly after her father's check at 9 o'clock. In the 45 minutes that followed, there were 2 significant sightings of a man carrying a young girl. The first, daughter, when she saw Jerry
Pointing down that way. Because I think...
You got to remember that she's give the police one view and he's give the police another.
if you'd have been looking at me, because I would have said something, because I would have said about, because Kate had been moaning that you'd been gone a long time watching the football.
Oh. And this is the bombshell evidence.
This is the bombshell evidence. The bombshell evidence from someone else's video from 5 years ago and the comments in that video. And you've used the exact same title. Jane Tanner's Big Slip Up is this video, and you've called yours Jane Tanner Slips Up. So you've slipped up because your bombshell evidence is plagiarised from another YouTuber from 5 years ago. Am I better? I still feel a bit rough. I'm telling you, I got food poisoning. I'm not having it. I got food poisoning. I cook lovely vegan food, but there's other foods in the fridge sometimes that aren't vegan, and I think something wasn't covered, and I got yucky tummies. So I am feeling a bit better. There's family round today.
Look at Jerry's face. Jerry's thinking, what the hell have you just said?
You can't really see Jerry's face on the quality of this video.
Now remember, people take notes. This is May the 3rd. The football was May the 1st and May the 2nd. Remember? I just showed you. May the 3rd, there's no football.
There is football. You see, you got that wrong. There is football. If you were in Portugal on May the 3rd, you would have seen two UEFA, not the Champions League, but the UEFA Cup matches. They were semi-finals and they both involved Spanish teams. So Spanish-Portugal, very close to each other. They would definitely be in broadcast. All the sports bars would not have said, right, yeah, that's not good sport. They'd have definitely played it. There would definitely have been football on. But whether it's the football that Jerry wants to watch or the football she's talking about or she's confused, fair enough. But let's be fair, right? Let's say she has got that, like, let's say she's bang right and she's seen things on the day that the Jerry's late back from the football. What does that mean? It means Madeleine McCann was abducted the day before. Like, the day she's reporting. And she's not just saying this thing happened. She's also, part of her story is that they also were at the table and Madeleine went missing and, you know, all this. Yeah. So she's reporting as if it happened the day before. Is she making a mistake with which day she saw this thing happening? Is she making a mistake with the day? Like, what are you trying to say? You're either saying that Madeleine was abducted the day before and that her story is that she was abducted the day before and everyone else's story is she was abducted the other day and that she's the only one that's telling the truth. Or you're saying that she's confused about which day she's telling this story about and therefore is confused about what she's saying. So I don't know how this is bombshell evidence that's going to change anything. Jane Tanner's evidence, Jane Tanner's testimony has never been anything that we've really hung anything off for the Madeleine McCann case. And most of us that have gone through, looked through the police files, read the Portuguese policeman's book, watching the Richard D. Hall, you know, James Bogart, you know, looked through the files, like Lizzie Taylor, done like deep and interesting research. Like, you know, most people who have done these sort of things are not saying that Jane Tanner is the one that we should hear everything Jane Tanner says and just make it like she's the one that's telling the truth and no one else knows what's going on. It's not that. It's that she's been out having a drink every night of the week. Her testimony is not necessarily so consistent in some places, and this is one of those places where it's a little bit inconsistent.
Shortly after her father's check at 9 o'clock. In the 45 minutes that followed, there were two significant sightings of a man carrying a young girl. The first was by Jane Tanner. She was looking in on her sick daughter when she saw Jerry returning from his check. He was talking to a friend, Jez Wilkins, at the side of the road.
I must just add here that Portugal have the same time zone as us. So when I say the football finished at 10:30, it finished 10:30. I included all commercial breaks. Commercial breaks don't rule football. I know it's quarter an hour for half time. I know there's a 5-minute messing about. I videoed it, filmed it, watched it. My times are correct. I've spent it.
But none of it matters because it was the day before that Madeleine. Well, it was. If she's saying about this meeting on the day that the football was on, and there were other football matches on. And she could have been confused, like Jerry could have said we're off to the sports bar, and she could have assumed they were off watching the football because she doesn't follow football, so she doesn't know what football was on. Like, it just, for her to say you were late back from watching the football and Kate was cross doesn't mean factually that Jerry was out watching the Champions League semi-final between Liverpool and Chelsea. That's not factually what that means. So, like, you are confused. Slinky Sock says they can't have the same time zone. I don't know. Well, just find out then quickly. Portugal, UK time zone There is no difference between Lisbon and United Kingdom. Yeah, we can, because like we can be on the line. We could be in the same time zone because it's lines of longitude, not latitude, I think. Portugal does have multiple time zones though, apparently. Does Portugal have 2 time zones? It has 2 time zones. Continental and Azores use UTC +1. Okay, hang on. Block where I live. Time in Portugal. Where are they? They're in Praia de Luz. Time in Praia de Luz. Can't even spell it. Chico time, not Chico time, you fucking knob. It's now 7:11. It's 7:11 now. No, it's the same. It's the same. It is. Let's get Angry Alan back. I'm watching the group think at 8 o'clock. Don't think I'm not. Got to get through this.
25% of our audience. 25.
I've got that lined up as well. So let's get through this quicker.
2 hours on this today. Please don't question my times. My times are...
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Filmed it, watched it. My times are correct. I've spent 2 hours on this today.
You spent 2 hours on this today. What do you mean 2 hours? How long have you spent 2 hours on it? You found a video that lasts for 9 minutes. You've looked on the Wikipedia about the Champions League. That takes about 5 minutes. How have you done 2 hours? You want the Tippies link? Absolutely, I will. Thank you very much. Play Alan.
My times are absolutely correct within a minute. The point is, there's football on the first, there's football on the second, there's no football on the night she disappears.
However,
there is
Jane
football.
and Jerry remember the scene differently.
See, I think you were about here. And I think you were standing like that, and Jez was there with his pram pointing down that way. Because I think if you'd have been looking at me, because I would have said something, because I would have said about, because Kate had been moaning that you'd been gone a long time watching football.
Kate had been moaning that you've been gone a long time watching football. She's just pointed him in a position where Jerry would have seen the man carrying the baby. That's what she's so upset about. That's why he's upset, because she's just named the way he's facing, saying they would have seen the man carrying the child, right? And he's going, no, so first of all, she's gone and said that I should have seen the baby in the mat.
Right, so there's a problem here, because if she's saying that her and Jerry were stood in the street and they could both see someone carrying a child, yeah, then if it was the day that Madeline had gone missing and Jerry was looking for Madeline and was worried about her late at night, yeah, and Kate was cross because he was late coming back from the football, late, because what time did they raise the alarm about Madeline? It was like 9:30, wasn't it? So then they stood out in the street late at night because he's come back late from watching the football and they've seen this man carrying this child, right? And then Jerry's not gone, well, that could be Madeline. And like none of it seems to tie up properly, does it? And Jerry would jump on this and say, yeah, absolutely. I was there with you and we saw a man carrying a child. Therefore, I didn't do it. I'm innocent, wouldn't he? He'd jump on that.
But worse than that, she says, Kate was moaning that you've been gone a long time watching football. This is the third.
So that means that it's not the day that they're all sat around eating tapas then, because he wasn't gone watching the football when they're all sat around eating tapas on the night of her disappearance.
The football was the first and second. She's lying.
She's lying. Or maybe you don't have the context as to what they are actually recreating, because like dun dun dun, like, you know, mic drop moment. This clip that we've all been talking about for the last fucking half an hour, or Alan all day yesterday, this clip from Abby on the internet is 9 minutes of what was probably a 45-minute piece, and there's no context before it and very little context after it.
Quiet and just, why I didn't take those.
Have been Jerry McCann, but this was investigated and ruled out by the Portuguese police.
And the sighting was investigated and ruled out by the Portuguese police. So, like, you know, there's not much to this really, but you're spinning a lot of nonsense out of nothing really. And what it's come from is that somebody in the past said that, look, Jane Tanner slipped up.
Red Fan 30 cent tippies.
Big ups, Red Fan.
Super Chuffer owes 5 hugs.
Thank you very much, Red Fan. Consistent supporter of the stream here. Big ups. Thank you.
Certain that when I came out, I came over and he was here, and I was like that. That's my memory of it. Is like Jez is 6'3" or something and looking up, and then turning in when I finished. That's my memory of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it just...
It's like I said, that there are inconsistencies, you know, in every major investigation.
Okay, that's fine.
Obviously, the most important thing is what you saw, Jane. It's not where Jerry and Jez were actually stood, because they didn't obstruct your view of the man you saw.
I was walking up here to do...
So she's probably saying she saw a different man a different day and she thinks it might be tied in, yeah?
the check. And probably as I got to, it's hard to know exactly where, but probably about here, I saw the man walk across the road there.
Okay. You know, that's her witness statement. Then it all goes on, talks about the McCanns, says that her sighting was, again, there was this doctor who had actually been retrieving his child from the creche, like it got, you know, sorted. I don't see how this is what Alan has turned it into.
She's getting the days mixed up.
It's not that she's getting her days mixed up necessarily, it's that you're getting mixed up with what's going on, I think, Alan. Or we could go back over exactly and check. She might be getting her days mixed up. She might be. She might be confused. And what? That's what they said in the comments on the video, is there was no football on that day. I think she's confused. Okay? And what? And then, just to drive it home, Alan talks about that for...
Before they call the police?
Like, another half hour.
I'm going to say in retrospect. Retrospectively, hindsight, I think she said retrospect.
Or against the shoulder.
Carrying a child in an unusual way.
Yeah, I was carrying sort of across the body like that. I suppose in hindsight, you probably think somebody would carry them more against the shoulder.
Who was carrying this body come child?
Body come child. The doctor that came forward and said that he was carrying his child home from the crash.
On one night, and Liverpool on another night, and the abduction day, there was no football. Get out of that one.
Get out of that one.
Get out of that one. Haters, debunk that one.
Debunk it. You stole it. There's the debunk, is that you stole this video from somebody else. Yeah, your big show on Madeleine McCann is stolen content. There's the debunk for you, Alan.
This is Jane Tanner's story. I saw nothing. Listen to him, like the same way as the other guy goes into the room and says, "I didn't actually see Maddie." I saw nothing. It's Jane Tanner putting her neck on the line. Jerry here takes his neck off the line.
About because Kate had been moaning that you'd been gone a long time watching football.
I'm almost certain that when I came out, I came over and he was here, and I was like that. That's my memory of it. It's like Jez is 6'3" or something.
Nothing. I didn't see Jane Tanner. I didn't see Tanner Man. I didn't see nothing. I turned this way. I didn't see anything.
When I finished.
ACW sent tippies.
That's his memory of it.
Yes, continue grafting against grifting. Kofi changed grifting to grafting. Glad you understood.
Thanks, ACW.
Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Big ups. Thank you. Thank you for the tippies.
Memory of it. Well, I'm afraid it's not my memory of it, because my memory is, because I'm a football fan, you were watching Man United on one night and Liverpool on another night, and the abduction day, there was no football.
There was football.
Get out of that one. Get out of that one. Haters, debunk that one.
He's not done anything clever here, has he? By watching someone else's video, reading the comments, and then going on Wikipedia and looking at what football was on the day that Jerry McCann mentioned he was watching Man United.
Jane Tanner says she was abducted on the night that Jerry was watching football. There was no football that night.
There was football that night. I've just proved it. There was the UEFA, not the Champions League, but the UEFA Cup semi-finals involving the Spanish teams.
Bang, boom, wallop.
And it doesn't matter, because Jerry was not late back from watching football on the night that Madeleine McCann disappeared. He was sat with the group eating food in the tapas bar. That's the whole fucking point of the case, isn't it? So you must be confused about what element of Jane Tanner's evidence and in what order, and either you're confused about what she's saying, because she might have been describing the day before there. They might have been reconstructing the days leading up to it. She might have been describing something she saw on the day before. Alan says he's got this perfect memory. I haven't got a perfect memory of which day Jane Tanner said she saw someone. And because I write it all off, because it was gone through. The people that she said she saw came forward and were legit, and she has nothing to offer. So it's not you can't debunk her because she's not an instrumental part of the evidence. I wish you'd put your microphone over in front of your face, you fucking nutter.
She's lying.
She's lying.
She may not
now.
be lying of seeing Jerry.
Couldn't be happier.
Big ups the blind leading the blind.
The blind leading the blind sent tippies. Alan must love you taking his pants down and giving him a cheeky slap in public.
Giving his bottom smack
Otherwise,
tonight.
surely he would stop the lying, stealing and grifting.
I don't know.
Big ups to all in chat.
But I do know this is...
Super
that's
Chuffer
a
owes
thumbnail.
5 hugs.
That's a thumbnail. I might change the thumbnail later to that. I do know that, wow, what a cheating, grifting narcissist this is. What a shocking, cheating, grifting narcissist this is. To have found somebody else's video from 5 years ago, and the fact that they're not on YouTube anymore, and that it's not really content that you can copyright yourself because it's from someone else's copyrighted material, and to take the comments in that and just say, this is my big thing that I've discovered, get out of that, I'm a big detective, is absolutely, lowball.
Carrying a dead body, because the guy confirms it. I saw somebody carrying something to the beach who was 80% Jerry McCann.
That, you fool. The Smith sighting, you fool, was not like that. That's the difference. The man that was the doctor that was carrying his child home, that child was sleeping and he was cradling them in his arms like that. The man that was seen near the beach, Jerry McCann, by the Smith family, was holding the child up over his arms, but the child seemed very still. Like on his shoulder like that, but it seemed very still. It's different. You're confused.
But of course, the British press won't report that. They leave the dummies like me to put my neck on the line.
Dummies like you.
But it's not just me, unfortunately.
It's not just you, no. It was the people that you ripped the video off.
Al agrees. In fact, Concamaramo taught me that the poor little girl died.
Concamaramo taught you. You mean that when the Portuguese files were translated into English, you read them in his book? Like, Concamaramo didn't teach me. I read his book on the internet and showed everyone the internet and went through it with everyone. In my coverage of Madeleine McCann stuff, which is on Super Chuffer, I just show you the source. I don't pretend that me and Concamaramo are big friends.
In the room and was taken out and hidden. Does that not seem a likely scenario now? Does that not seem more likely than someone breaking in a window? They don't need to because the shutter's beside it, they're open. There's a sliding door. Which is more likely? Or Miss Tanner? Vote now.
Now he's doing the questions.
Someone carrying a child like this to the beach at 11 something to be.
He wasn't carrying them like that.
2 sightings. One by Tanner, one by Smith.
Investigate the Smith. Go and do your investigation on the Smith sighting, Alan. Go and watch James Bogart.
Raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Big ups,
Lisa
Lisa.
sent tippies. Isn't Alan a silly Billy?
He's a
Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
He's worse than a silly Billy.
The man carrying Madeleine McCann abducted her. Mr. Smith says he saw 80% sure Jerry McCann carrying a child to the beach. Smith or Tanner. No.
Alan's so transparent that you can see his green screen background through his head. That's why it looks so yellow.
Of course, there's going to be some bias here because I've now told you my story. So a lot of you like me and you're going to go, hey, he's right. But
There's going to be some bias because I've told you my story. No, I don't really understand why you're wrong and right here. What you're saying is that the main Champions League football happened on the days leading up to Madeleine's disappearance. Jane Tanner said that Jerry was late coming back from the football on this particular day when she saw this man. We know that they were all sat round at the tapas bar when Madeleine went missing, so there must be some incongruence there. Something must not quite be right between your thinking and her thinking or whatever. And the football that might have been on that day could have been a different football match. That was UEFA the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, what we call it. Not the Champions League, the other one. There was all sorts of things wrong with what you said.
asking you to vote honestly. Now, you've got to bear in mind that the Portuguese have
This is
written off
brilliant.
Tanner as a liar.
The vote.
They're not written off Mr. Smith as a liar. So, let's look at some more evidence.
The Portuguese police haven't written her off as a liar necessarily, but they've said, inconsistencies in testimony. And let's look at some more evidence. So, Madeleine McCann police spent years trying to ID man seen carrying baby on night toddler disappeared, despite doctor saying it was him. That's him. Julian Topman was carrying his daughter
again. I
back.
couldn't be happier.
Tina sent tippies. This man is an ass. He thinks everyone is stupid. How has he got away with this bull for so long?
Thank you very much, Tina.
Super Chuffer owes 5 hugs.
Thank you very much, Tina. Thank you. How is he? Well, he's not getting away with it now. I'm calling him to account. If he's going to steal content so blatantly, I just fucked up my green screen. If he's going to be so blatant and I'm going to be so straight out straight up with him. So that's the doctor who was seen carrying the Julian Topman. Okay, job done.
That's my britches. Along comes Julian Topman, says it's his daughter. Your mind has made them killers. Read the files, watch my films. She fell off the spot. Did not kill Madeleine McCann. The parents did not kill Madeleine McCann.
AD, all bad parents don't mean killers.
It was an accident, Eric. An accident.
Big ups, Andy. Back of the net with this one. $4.99 super chat. Only football related thing I know. Back of the net.
Okay.
Thank you for the $4.99 super
Mr.
chat.
Smith. So they've got this Topman, who never said a word and just suddenly appears 5 years later to smash the story that what Martin Smith said he saw Mr. McCann. And it worked.
No, the Topman sighting doesn't smash the the Topman coming forward doesn't smash the Smith sighting. It smashes the other sighting that Jane Tanner saw, and like it means that the Smith sighting is all the more likely to be Jerry McCann.
Correct. Martin Smith's story was wiped out by this Topman coming along and destroying Smithman and re-engaging Tannerman. Tannerman goes back to life thanks to Topman turning up and saying, "Yeah, I'm Tannerman." Which here, I guess you and then passed confirmed she died in the apartment. And then,
Okay.
dun, 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 dun,
Oh.
dun, 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 dun. Okay. Just to give you a better view of the kiddie sticker book. You should be able to see us a bit clearer now.
Tell you what I can see a bit clearer is that this is in your Facebook group and you've got AD, Liz and Kaka in a little messages thing. Got email from ICO Kaka. I won't something. Like you can see his it's very bad quality. The problem with Alan is he's broadcasting this so poorly. Like it's not like I can't blow that up and make it much more legible even because it's really small shitty writing, but we can try a little bit. But I actually believe here on this one, okay, I think that this one is deliberate. Reset the transform. I think this is deliberate. I think he's deliberately showing us this chat so that I will pick out and go, oh, you know, because we catch him out before, so he thinks that I'm going to think, oh, I've found a big thing, but I haven't found a big thing. This is just he's deliberately done this. What it says, 10 p.m. Pride de Luz, something. Comments there. AD Liz Kaka, look. There, that gammon something her channel. That gammon some Tina ruined her channel. Got email from ICO Kaka Liz OMG I won't open it so you can. Is that real? I've got an email from the ICO Kaka. They're going to shut down the Rusick case. Oh my God. And Battery Exhausted digs out what Alan didn't want us to see. And what he didn't want us to see is that he's winning. No. If you got an email from them, it'd be an automated email saying, please stop sending us fucking emails. You Discord messaged me a copy of it last night. All right, I haven't looked, sorry. But yeah, I think that's Alan either deliberately doing that so that he thinks that he's going to accidentally show something and we're going to jump on it and then we're all going to be all over it. And actually, it's bollocks. Got an email from the ICO, it's bollocks. But if it's really an email from the ICO, he hasn't opened it so that Kaka can open it. And then the beauty of it is that it would just be an automated response. Like if anyone emails the ICO, they'll get an email back, won't they? Thank you for your email. Or more likely, they're just emailing him to say, stop fucking telling people to email us, you idiot. Your complaint is rubbish. My guess is that's double bluff. That he's written that in, knowing it's going to be put on the screen, and then, oops, and then we look at it and it makes him look good that he's getting an email from the ICO. But if not, then you're an idiot, Alan. Oh, no, he's closed it quick, but he didn't go and edit it out. You all right, Alan, trying to do the thing on your internet here? On your Facebook. See this? Yeah, we're back to that timeline that they wrote on the fag packet. Got you.
And Madeleine probably no longer in her bed.
Going through the Madeleine timeline.
And she never saw its face, obviously, on the reasons she had explained. So she
going through the Tanner evidence, which we've just seen is not really if you were going to go to court on her evidence and he had been seen and there was no, either she saw Jerry and there was no football that day, or she saw Jerry on a different day when there was football. It's inadmissible, isn't it? Because she's confused. But I don't really know what you're trying to draw out of it, Alan.
Can't work out why the police are confronting her saying you're lying, because if you had seen this, you'd have told the McCanns. What they didn't know, and what I've confirmed to you tonight 100%, that she lied.
Did she?
She said the abduction was the night of the football. The night of the football was the night before.
What?
If only I could have got that to the police at the time, they'd have confronted her with that and she'd been stuffed.
Tonight you haven't shown us that she said that. You've shown us that she was doing a recreation that appeared to be that, but she could have been recreating the day before. And if it was that, then that makes her admission either inadmissible or, it doesn't make sense anyway, because if Jerry was late coming back from the football, then what was he doing sat around with the tapas people having tapas? He was seen by other witnesses having the tapas. The reason that they're called the Tapas 7 is because they were there in that fucking bar having the tapas. Other people saw them. It's just weird, this episode, and I don't know how it's supposed to, I don't know what it's supposed to do.
If she'd have said it was the night of the football to the police, they'd have had her. They would have had her.
Well, she didn't say it to the police then, did she?
And they didn't believe her, by the way. They didn't believe her. Regarding most and best information that might help the present investigation, she said she remembered on one night, she thinks Tuesday the 1st of May, there were two couples, English, dining in a tapas restaurant. Not relevant. So there you go. The infamous Tanner and Tannerman. Now, you've got to think about the information I've given you over the last hour and a half. It's time for you to vote. I'll see if I can find a way of doing a poll.
This is good, this bit.
Start a poll, here we go. Do you...
To be conclusive on it, what we needed to see there was Jane Tanner's admissible evidence that she put forward, stating on the day of Madeline's disappearance that she saw Jerry in the street and that he'd come back from the football. But the truth of the matter is that when Jane Tanner put her statements in, the talk of football was gone, and that the only evidence to suggest that she was talking about the football was in this sequence that was recorded, from Alan's perspective, 9 minutes of a 45-minute program, which he took slightly out of context, and you don't know if she's referring to the same day, different day. This man in the documentary says this is an inconsistency and this isn't consistent, and if that's the case, it might be that she's inconsistent, and I don't see how that makes her a liar, and I don't see how it makes any of this different for the Madeleine McCann case. I don't understand. It's in the files, says Sally James. Yeah, exactly. Her witness statement is in the files, but the football stuff is not, is it? As far as I remember, she didn't mention that he was, she's talking about this here on this thing. I can see Sally James said it's in the files. As far as I can remember, she doesn't mention that Jerry's coming back late from the football. I thought that in the files on the day of Madeleine's disappearance, she mentions that she saw someone when she was checking on the children, but Jerry was Alan wasn't coming back. Jerry wasn't coming back late from the football. Hadn't they been playing tennis or something? Didn't they eat tapas? I just think that's not my episode today anyway. Clearing up her confusion and going deep on that today is not my episode. My episode is that Alan has stolen this concept from this YouTube channel.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier. Swish and then whoosh.
Big ups.
Grandmaster Sid Sophos sent tippies. Jerry, being Scottish, watched the match at Hampden Park, Glasgow, the 16th of May, 2007 at Hampden Park in Glasgow, Scotland. In an all-Spanish final, Sevilla defeated Espanyol 3-1 on penalties after drawing 2-2 after extra time. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Big up. So those football matches were taking place on the day that Madeleine disappeared. So he could have been out watching those football matches. She said Jerry was a long time coming back from checking on the children, and Kate said he was probably watching football. Got it. So wait. Okay, just with the help of my chat there, we're saying that Jane Tanner said that he might have been gone watching football, and if that was, Jerry went for his check for a long time, and then Kate said to Jane he's probably watching football, and when he came back they were okay, got it. I'll take that. Sorry if I've been confused and inconsistent myself, because as I've said over a number of times during this episode, I've written off what Jane Tanner has said as not really that important, because I've got my timeline of what I think went on. It's happened a long time ago and we've covered it a lot, yeah. But so the point being here is that Jerry totally 100% could have been gone watching football. Boom, bang, bang, I'm back up. Boom, bang, bang. You're right. You're all right. Yeah, I'm back up. So this is a real core point, right? Is that thank you for chat for correcting me. You know, I can be confused and a bit wrong, or not remembering exactly what Jane Tanner said. Thank you for chat. I didn't have time to do a lot of research on today's episode, really. Just caught this and wanted to just jump on stream. But thank you for correcting me. If she said that he went out to check the kids, they were a long time coming back because probably watching the football. She's gone out and she's seen them in the street. The suggestion here is that he's gone to watch the football somewhere with his mate or just off on his own. And that as he's come back, she said, and Alan has said, this doesn't make sense because there was no football. And the channel that he stole it from, in their comments, has raised this in their description of the video. What's this about a football match, Jane? And in the comments, they said there's no football. But thankfully, unlike the Armchair Detective, I do my due diligence. I can say that on the 3rd of May, and thanks to Sid Sophos pointing out the Scottish connection, Werder Bremen and Espanyol, Sevilla and Osasuna were the semi-finals in the UEFA Cup, and they were on that day. And Joey was interested in the final of that as well. So, it's totally plausible that Jerry could have watched that football. If you wanted to, you can't prove there was no football on because there was football on. So going through all the details of the FA of your favourite Liverpool and Chelsea game has no bearing, and we've caught you out because you just don't make any sense, Alan. And this is where the core critical point is. Then is that when you steal someone's homework and copy it, if they make a mistake, or if there's something in their homework that's not properly thought through, you copy the same mistake, and then that's how we catch you out, copying, isn't it? So there you go. There you go. The whole question is about whether someone said that he might have been out watching football. Sally James is pointing out as well that it was a throwaway comment from Kate to Jane. Football has nothing to do with the case. He might not have even been out to check on, he might have not been off watching football. She might have just said it. She might have been joking. So, you have to take context into account as well. So Alan has not busted the case wide open. He's taken someone else's content from 5 years ago, plagiarised it, and the inconsistencies that come with it have stuck with him and are now part of his research. And now we're going to have all the joy and fun of his anger as the poll doesn't quite go his way.
Jane Tanner.
Wait, I want to show us typing it in. I'm going to be a bit late for that being said, but I want to show us typing it in. Let's have my Firefox up because this is nice watching him typing it in. For me, it's nice anyway. What? For you, it's nice watching you typing it in. Listen, I have to have some things to enjoy. Out of all this, I have to have some things to enjoy. I'm watching the chuffer typing it in. He's dyslexic, you can't diss him for having trouble typing. He doesn't appear to have trouble finding the letters on his keyboard with his dyslexia. Here he is. Do your typing, Alan.
Do you believe Jane Tanner?
It's like a little secretary.
This is very important because if you do believe her, Madeleine McCann was abducted. If you don't believe her, she couldn't have been.
What?
There goes the poll. I don't.
If you believe Jane Tanner, Madeleine McCann was abducted. If you don't believe her, she could not have been. That is just weird conclusions and
I think all of you can
bizarre.
partake in the poll because I think you have to have a laptop. I don't know. Can you tell me, Kaka? Can everybody see the poll? So,
every single time. I love this. Every single time he does a poll, he doesn't know if people on phones can do it. He's got a phone, so he could just open up his own stream and check if the poll is operational. Every single time he gets the same answer, yes, they can. It's almost like weird engagement farming. Can you do the poll? Can you tell me if you can do the poll? It's like some weird stress he has with the poll. Like, for criper's sake, Alan, you just type it out in a little typist, and then they do the little poll.
Can you tell me, Kaka? Can everybody see the poll? So, vote. Is she lying her teeth? Oh, is she lying through her teeth, or is she telling the truth?
You're lying through your teeth. He laughed then.
Matthew.
He laughed then because he's lying through his teeth because he knows that his entire show tonight is ripped off from someone else, and that he's just gone on about the Chelsea game, and it has no bearing.
Carrying a young girl.
I know he's playing their video again. Like, obviously, I've got him up big, but he's playing their video again. So you get to watch this 3 times over in the broadcast, 3 times fully through while the poll goes on. We'll just have that again. So just going to skip forward while, you know, Alan literally just plagiarises someone else's. Got 3 times over now. You have to watch all that. He's picking his nose while he's watching it. He's bored. Look, literally picking his nose. Don't pick your nose, Alan. Oh, he's picking. He's having a little picky. Playback speed. Come on, Alan. You were having a little pick. He's having a little picky. Alan's having a picky. On his stream live on the internet. Alan's having a little picky. What's going to happen to that? Look, have a little picky. Get that. Where's that going? Oh, he's not falling asleep, is he? No, he's having a picky. What, are you wiping on your face? Did you wipe it on your face? Ugh. Alan, I'm speeding you up again. Disgusting. You're a disgusting mess. He's watching the video again. Okay. Watching the video again. Good work, Alan.
They didn't look like a standard tourist.
I saw somebody walk across the top of the road. She said she got in 5 meters.
You're well far away from your microphone now.
5 meters of the baby.
So obvious.
This is good, isn't it, Alan?
Not only did she not tell the parents, she didn't tell anyone who even bounced the idea of. Surely, girls in chat, you would have told one of them and had a conversation about what you just seen, wouldn't you? She never told anyone.
Abducting a child, but it's not even a thought that somebody's going to go into an apartment and.
Now, I do notice the poll says 75% of you say that she's lying. But what worries me more is that 25% of you believe her.
So 75% of people in the chat have fallen foul of his indoctrination, or at least believe what they believe. But 25% have got a different opinion to Alan. And that means that it's not working for those 25%. He thinks he's got to work them harder.
If you believe her, can you tell me why? Can you tell me why? If I've just told you that the football wasn't even this night, how can you believe her when she said it's the night of the football?
He's getting cross.
The night before?
He's getting angry with people in his chat.
Can someone explain to me how she can be telling the truth?
Come to my stream, Alan said at the start, didn't he? Remember, where you can have an easy conversation, a nice conversation, no aggression. And now he's literally picking on people. All right, anyone who voted differently to my opinion in the poll, right, I want you to come forward. Let's have you in forward. Come on, let's have you. Let's have you on the chat. Let me pull you to pieces. Come on.
I'd love to know.
I'd love to know.
Please tell me how.
No aggression.
How she can get the football night as the night she saw the abduction when there was no football that night. Please tell me.
There was football that night.
Take a child out.
That's how I can tell you, is because there was football that night.
You know, you're probably the one person that could have actually stopped it and you think, oh, what if? It's that what if? And you can take those what ifs to...
You only think the 25 or the peanut gallery...
He was going to just let that play, that video then, and he couldn't hack it. It's in his mind now. It's in his mind. I've told him, more people watch you that hate you than even people that watch you that hate you could have still agreed with your opinion on that poll. So don't just think only 25% people hate me. But like, this is what he's going to go on to explain. It's in his mind. And this is where Alan's like mentally falling apart a bit on his own stream. Like, he couldn't just sit there triumphant having stolen someone else's content thinking he's getting away with it. He's having to have a pop at 25% of people who are watching now. And it's not 25% of people who are watching, it's 25% of people who did the poll.
You know, you're probably the one person that could have actually stopped it and you think, oh, what if? It's that what if? And you can take those what ifs to...
You only think the 25 or the peanut gallery, my haters who watch me every night, you know, like Lizzie and all those people that absolutely hate me, Alaska Lady, they all watch me every night. Every night they watch me just to hate me. So it's got to be, if I say black, they say white, right? So I've worked it out. Like the 25% are not real people. They're my haters.
He's having a rant.
100%.
ad infinitum, really.
And so if you were on his stream and you thought differently to what he suggested and you voted, then you just been bundled into the haters gallery. Like, you can fuck off. Welcome new viewers to the Armchair Detective experience. If you don't agree with me, I'm going to pick on you at the end of the episode. I'm going to use my polls to identify the people that I want to pick on.
I tell you what, if you stand here...
At least he's closer to the mic. They're crying on the video. Oh, he went back to Liverpool.
So it's all to do with the football. I trapped her with the football. And there you go.
Unbelievable. On the video, they start crying. And there's a moment that you might pause and say, hang on. You know, I'm doing my ranting. He's doing his ranting. This is a little girl who got disposed of, died, sad. Sad, rest in peace, Madeline. Little moment, maybe, for a thought about, no, they're crying. Well, that's fucking boring. And in fact, like, you know, I don't want to see women crying. So let's move on to the football and why I'm so good.
So it's all to do with the football. I trapped her with the football.
I've trapped her with the football by reading comments from 5 years ago on a video from 5 years ago that I've stolen and put on my channel.
And there you go.
And there you go.
Around 75% of you think she's lying. 25% of you hate me and think she's telling the truth.
25% of you hate me. Imagine, like, this is narcissism to an extreme degree. Okay, imagine believing that, and I learned recently as well, like, I watched a really cool short from this dude. I've forgotten his name, so I'll shout him out in another episode. I'll get the shorts up sometime. We'll look at them. We'll do a narcissism episode again soon. Like, Alan sees the world through, like, this, some point in his childhood, something bad happened where he couldn't grow up properly, and he's put up a protective narcissist bubble, and he's like a small child inside this bubble, and it warps and distorts his view of the world, as well as protecting him from the reality. And so, like, in some way, Alan, like, he isn't just framing this in this way because, like, it's a comedy skit or anything. He actually thinks. Like, if I do a poll now, right, let's start a poll. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? Like, anyone who votes no on that poll, for me, I don't care. Like, you know, it's not going to hurt me. Like, it doesn't matter even what the poll is about, does it? It's just a poll on YouTube, and whether people agree with me or not is, it's for you to, like, and to gauge, for me to learn. Like, sometimes I ask for a poll when I'm not sure if I'm resonating right with the audience, if my take isn't a bit off, or if I'm not seeing things right, you know, to correct me, maybe to correct my behavior. But if like whatever percentage of people don't agree with me, I'm not going to be like, oh no, right, fuck you, you're my enemies. That's not what the polls are for. It's not for, like, using as a Stasi, like, you know, like the Gestapo, like, wheedling out dissent. Is it? If you don't agree with me, and this is the thing that Alan's taken it to this weird level, you hate me. He's now rent-free in his head. He knows, like, full well, there's not just 25%. That was just a small chunk of the people who decided to vote on your poll, Alan. Like, there's a lot more people than 25% of people watch you because they hate you. Trust me. Like, you don't have this, like, big viewing figures because you, like, you know, that you used to. The only people who are still watching you are the people that are really core critics. Like, you know full well, Alan, who the people that support you are, because you see them in your Spanish group and in your, you know how few that number is. Like, how many comments can you get on a fucking community post? How few that number is. You know how few the number is, but you know how the number of 1,000 people that watch you or whatever, there's a bunch of them that are just clickbaited in, that don't know who you are and are clickbaited in, and there's a load of people that hate you, and then the small minority are the ones that actually like you. Okay, but having this brought to your attention through a poll like this is weird the way you framed it. It's weird, but it's fucking hilarious as well, so we get to enjoy this.
Around 75% of you think she's lying. 25% of you hate me and think she's telling the truth. That's how I worked it out. I can't think anybody. No one's given me an answer. I've asked you all. Why do you think she's telling the truth? Because no one's telling me why they believe her. They're all the people that just hate me. 25% of our audience. 25% of our audience watch me to hate me. So there you go. That's that. I caught them. I caught them. Bingo. That's how clever I am, right?
I've caught them. Someone's not losing it. Okay, someone's fine and nicely balanced. I've caught them. I caught them. That's how clever I am. And he thinks on his feet, and he makes up a situation where he's winning. 25% of people hate me. but I'm winning because I caught them, and that means that I'm smarter than them, and I've got you in my net now. Like, no, a minute ago it was bad because they all hated you, but you just twist it. This is how quick he twists. This is the con man in action. Like, the narcissist, the abusive gaslighter, because you're trying to have a normal conversation with someone and they quickly think, like, you can catch them out in something and they'll quickly think and twist it round and now it's something different, and like, I've caught them. You've caught them because they didn't agree with you in the poll, right? Welcome to Stasi land. Get in the chat. You'll be wheeled out eventually. Like, what's going on?
The people that just hate me. 25% of our audience. 25% of our audience watch me to hate me. So there you go. That's that. I caught them. I caught them. Bingo. That's how clever I am, right? That's how clever I am. I know darn well 25% wouldn't believe this woman. It is worrying, but it's not true. The 25% are my haters. I doubt if 10%, 5% believe her. After I've explained to you that she couldn't have seen the abductor because the football was the night before. After I've explained to you that Maddie died in the apartment, after I've explained to you that Mr. Smith, who hasn't got accident, saw Jerry McCann, in his opinion, carrying the baby, then I think that's all adds up to more than 75%.
That doesn't mean that she's lying. Like, it could just mean that she's confused or got a couple of things confused with days, or she did see something that was a bit sus but it didn't come to anything. It could mean that Jerry McCann had gone to watch, or she thought he'd gone to watch football because of something that Kate had said, that she got the wrong end of the stick and that there was football on that night. So none of it, like those facts about Madeline's disappearance or this tragic, a tragic death and then disposal of her body, that's not been disputed by Jane Tanner being confused.
It doesn't matter, because if you like work against...
Oh, and he doesn't like it. Look, the thing he doesn't like is that he's got these people there that are watching him and they don't agree with him, and his manipulation isn't working, and he hasn't got loads of super chats and tippies, and things aren't going well for him, and he's not getting the YouTube views from his recent foray into editing young girls. That was fucking savage as well. Like Angry Annan and the Worst Mom in the World episode. Like, that is savagery. He spent a lot of time being a bad chuffer. He is a bad chuffer. He looks like a bad chuffer. It's a bit falling apart for you, isn't it, Alan?
Work against me, you're blindsided. Like what?
Blindsided. He doesn't understand what blindsided means. Blindsided is if you're fighting someone and from out of nowhere someone hits you from the side. You didn't see it because it was from your blind side. So you got attacked from out of nowhere, blindsided. But what Alan thinks blindsided means is blinkered, where you can't see things from outside of your narrow point of view. But he's confused because he's an idiot.
Because if you like work against me, you're blindsided. Like it's like AD is this, AD is that. We believe it. Yeah, we believe it.
Yeah, we believe it. Yeah, we believe it. He's trying to say that if you've seen the videos of him singing with kids on the internet. Yeah. He's waving at him. If you've seen the videos of him singing with kids, if you've seen all that extensive, and I'm not going to go through it all again today. I'm not going to go through it all. The escort services, the use of CP terminology, the inner knowledge of how paedophile rings work, the stories from your past, all this stuff. I'm not going to. It's not because people are blinkered over this side of the show, Alan. It's that I'm opening up their eyes. I'm showing them the whole thing, and if anything, I'm quite happy to let people make up their own minds and opinions. I've got mine, but I'm certainly not blinkered. And I'm not blindsiding you. I'm doing it full on straightforward so you can see it. I'm showing everyone. I go through what you've done and I show everyone why it's bullshit and lies. And today you've really dropped yourself in it, because by stealing someone else's homework and drawing weird conclusions from it, you've shown yourself up to be a liar. Liar because you said you worked hard on it. In fact, I didn't get that bit of the clip where he worked hard on it. He said, I've worked really hard on this today. I got the bit earlier where he said he'd done 2 hours. But, like, where's the bit where he said, I'm a really good chuffer and I worked really hard on it? I want that in before we finish.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Just to give you a better view of the
maybe it comes up in a minute.
You should be able to see us a bit clearer now. Now, you've got to think about the information I've given you over the last more than 75%.
Anyway, That's him in his rage.
It
Finish
doesn't matter
off.
because if you like work against me, you're blindsided. Like it's like AD is this, AD is that. We believe it. Yeah, we believe it because you haven't got the sense to ever have your own mind, have you? You have to do what you're told. Don't ever agree with AD. Whatever he says, he's lying. Even want to prove it? That's hilarious. Jane Tanner. We do have memberships, Eric. Jane Tanner is the woman that says she saw Maddie McCann being abducted. You can join the membership easily. I would like you to join my Patreon if you can do so. It helps the channel survive. I don't get paid by YouTube for views, which is...
And as we say it, we get a member. Big ups, Just Jen. Welcome to membership. Big ups, Just Jen. Nice hair. Welcome to membership. As we say it, we get a member there, Alan.
Destroying my equilibrium of trying to live a life.
Sorry, what, Alan?
YouTube for views, which is destroying my equilibrium of trying to live a life.
Lie. Trying to lie.
I would like you to join my Patreon if you can do so. It helps.
Rocking about while he says this now in a self-soothing motion.
I would like you to join my Patreon if you can do so. It helps the channel survive. I don't get paid by YouTube for views, which is destroying my equilibrium of trying to live a life.
I don't get paid by YouTube for views, which obviously you do get paid by YouTube for views because you showed that you were getting monetized in your little screenshot the other day. And on the red channel, you try and grift the algorithm. Yeah, absolutely. But you're not getting as much money as you used to, are you, Alan? Something's changed, hasn't it? It's almost like, AD and BC. AD and BC. BC and AD. Do you know that? Like Aldo Domini and before, it's how we do the dates, isn't it? It's AD, Armchair Detective, and BC before Super Chuffer. Before Chuffer. BC, before Chuffer. Before Chuffer, things were going all right for you. But when you stole my content and refused to apologise and took it to another level, now this is happening. And you're not getting the money you used to get on YouTube, are you? And it's not enabling you to live a lie. Is it? As much. And you just about slipped up in your lie and said the word lie and laughed about it.
By YouTube for views, which is destroying my equilibrium of...
Your equilibrium of...
Trying to live a life.
Trying to lie.
I don't get paid by YouTube for views, which is destroying my equilibrium of trying to live a life. So if you can join Patreon, I appreciate it. We're going to put Patreon in chat now. You see the work I put in that. I've been working on that all day.
That's the bit. I've been working on that all day. Let's just hear this back in real time, because what we saw, and I proved to you, was somebody who watched a YouTube video that took 9 minutes, read the comments, went on Wikipedia, opened up a couple of Daily Mail and case file web pages, and just that was it. Like, that didn't take long.
Patreon, if you can do so, it helps the channel. You can join the membership easily. I would like you to join my Patreon if you can do so. It helps the channel survive. I don't get paid by YouTube for views, which is destroying my equilibrium of trying to live a life. So if you can join Patreon, I appreciate it. We're going to put Patreon in chat now. You see the work I put in that. I've been working on that all day. I've got a headache now. But it was worth the work to show you, and hopefully prove to you,
Minky,
through my football knowledge,
that's not a scratcher,
that she messed up. And Jerry showed you she messed up, didn't he? Trying to live a life.
Minky.
So if you can join Patreon, I appreciate it. We're going to put Patreon in chat now. You see the work I put in that. I've been working on that all day.
Pity party, all day. I've got a headache. Like, who makes YouTube content and comes to the content and says, listen, now that at the end of this show that you've watched it, I've been putting so much hard work in. I worked on that all day. Who begs like that at the end of their content? It's like, it's begging, isn't it? It's trying to guilt trip you into giving him tippies. I've been working on that all day. I've been working so hard. Who shouldn't work on their content? Who shouldn't put work in? Like when I put work in to find the people that you stole the content off, after noticing that you'd got a video in your thing that I'd seen somewhere else before, and thought, hang on, that's not your video. And then followed it up a little bit and found out they're not your opinions. Followed it up a bit more and found out that's not you doing work, that's you reading this comment chain. Who's putting in work where, Alan?
But it was worth the work to show you, and hopefully prove to you, through my football knowledge, that she messed up.
Through the football knowledge, but you didn't manage to check that there was football matches on the day that she was talking about, because there were football matches on.
And Jerry showed you she messed up, didn't he? He jumped in there, didn't he? He jumped in there. And to the people in the back row with no truth, keep up the meds. Thank you for watching the Armchair Detective, and thanks to all my spanners for being great tonight. And I hope you had some notes taken to understand what I said.
Because you need them, because it gets confusing.
I'm not lying.
You're not lying. What sort of person sits there on their show and says, I'm not lying, as part of their sign-off? I'm not lying. I'm not lying. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. And when you said that kid was just, they did a duet later on, that was a lie as well, wasn't it, Alan? They didn't do a duet later on, did they? They were live on the thing with you, weren't they, Alan? That was a lie, wasn't it? When you said that you knew nothing about that and it happened later, and that was a lie, wasn't it, Alan? And when you said that, tonight you'd been working, that was a lie, wasn't it, Alan? And when you said that you'd busted the case wide open with your knowledge, that was a lie as well, wasn't it, Alan? And when you said that there's something worth signing up to Patreon for, that was a lie. When you said you're a detective, that was a lie. When you claimed to be good at poker and a professional, that was a lie. When you said that you were running a restaurant and, serving people things off the menu that they thought they would get, that was a lie, wasn't it? And then when you said that you'd done with the tax thing, that was a lie. And then there's all lie, 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 lie.
Show receipts. We're an investigative channel. We don't just say X and you got to believe me. I say X and here's the proof.
That's ridiculous. All the time he says X and no proof. Sometimes the proof of X is that you can go back on one of his other videos and look, there he is saying X. Sometimes he uses himself in his old videos as proof. Who has to say this? Who needs to say this as some sort of categoric manipulation of the audience before they sign off?
That's the difference between me and other channels.
That's the difference between you and other channels. What do you mean? Other channels on YouTube are not reputable, but you're the one with your microphone over there and your 25 million views on a YouTube ad. I mean, no, you are the... Hang on. AD and BC before Super Chuffer. Before Chuffer. Life was better before Chuffer, wasn't it, Alan? It's not so good for you now, is it? Now there's someone calling you to account for stealing content all over the show. Thief, grifter, and if you did watch him and you thought his content was good last night and you're on his side and you're a spanner, you have to accept, I don't know what you're doing still watching this now, but you have to accept that he did steal this. There's no other, I've shown you where he stole it from, I've shown you what the thing said, I've shown you it was about the football, he stole it, okay?
Thank you for watching Armchair Detective. Good night.
Good night. What's that about?
Thank you for watching Armchair Detective. Good night.
Good night. No, you may have done a patron for that one. I don't know if he has. That one might be an interesting patron. But I want to watch the fucking messaging it in the group think, which should be on now, shouldn't it? No, 25 minutes. It's on in 25 minutes. So we've got 25 minutes. If he's done a patron, we might get to look at that. Well, I don't know. But I did want to pick out one other thing, which is that... so tonight we're going to shout out James Bogart as well. I'm going to put that in, copy and paste into chat, because Alan is using his content for ideas, and what I would suggest, my great suggestion for here, is just go back down here to number 1 and just watch them all one by one all the way through, and they're about 20 minutes long each, so you can get through that, and then you know what Alan's going to say in the next couple of weeks. There's a few more as well. There's a few more here. But, those ones with the red thumbnails kind of sum it all up nice and clear and concise. And that's what I like, really. I like, facts and clear and concise, even though sometimes when I do streams, I ramble on and repeat myself sometimes. I think I like facts and clear and concise, because I don't like all this other wishy-washy. Like, Richard D. Hall did really great work examining every little possibility. Yeah, like really going through and examining every little possibility. But at the same time, it became too much, too ranging, too much of a smokescreen for the truth. even though he was looking for the truth, you know what I mean? Like, exhausting every possibility is important. But what I like is like dog with a bone. I think this is the truth. Like, you know, not looking at everything else, but trying to, maybe I've got my blinkers on sometimes with the truth. Big ups, happy days. I see what you're saying there. I don't know who you're saying it about, but let me say this. I have the kiss of death for channels. When I'm doing all right recently with Regardation Police, Jamie and Slinky Socks. But in the past, I've suggested channels, and then 2 weeks later, they've dropped a video to say something like the moon doesn't exist or something. So, like, just be aware that I'm suggesting this because of the content about Madeleine McCann, and I don't know anything else. So please don't let me, like, kiss of death this channel. But, like, there's that anyway. We've got the tippies. They've been great. Groupthink is on in a bit. In about 20 minutes. We've got Alan singing with kids. That's going to be a feature of Alan's content from now on. My content about Alan. We've got this one as well, which I love. And how he knows.
From his mind and projects it onto AD. I've never been arrested. They've checked my computer. I've done nothing wrong. There is no child porn on the internet. I hate to warn you that. There is no child porn on the internet. I checked.
I'm on the internet. I've checked. He's checked. Alan has checked. Alan has checked the internet to see if there's child porn. So we've had that. What about this?
I was an MI5 agent, special agent. That's my only, I know I'm not an Armchair detective, but I was an agent for MI5. Really, I was. True. I didn't say I was former MI5.
Right. MI5 gate. From what I can see on that clip, a very early Armchair Detective from Lizzie Taylor, Alan says that he was in the MI5. He tries to claim it as a credential because, of course, it's a secret service. So Alan thinks he can say to his audience, there's a reason to watch my channel. I used to be a secret service agent. I'm not able to say anything about it, but I used to be in the secret service. It's just a little drop, it's just a little thing he dropped. I don't see, the problem I have got is that I don't know which stream this is from and the full context. I probably need to see the next 3 minutes of this to see if he turns it into a joke on this stream. But it seems like on this clip, he's saying for reals to try and gain some credibility that he used to be in the Secret Service, which of course he didn't.
I was an MI5 agent, special agent. That's my only, I know I'm not an Armchair detective, but I was an agent for MI5. Really, I was. True.
But we don't have any further, we need the rest of the video. Not all of it, but just like the next 3 minutes or so, just to confirm that he then goes on and talks about whatever and doesn't turn it into a joke. Because here he's now going to distance himself from it and say, no, it was a joke. When called out on it, and when it's obviously stupid and everyone thinks he's stupid, he's going to retcon the past, change the past and say, no, I didn't say that. It was a joke.
I said I was former MI5. I said I was former... It's a joke. MFI is a furniture company. They can't take a joke. They're saying...
So the joke is obviously because MFI, flat pack furniture, I used to work for MFI, not MI5. So people in chat there that were there at the time, I'm grateful for. Snow Bunny and Sweet Storm are saying that he didn't turn it into a joke, he left it hanging and it was no joke. Months later he said it was a joke. So there you go. Like, we've had confirmation for people. Like, for me, objection hearsay, I could say, but they were there at the time and have said that it was no joke, yeah? So Alan did get caught up in MI5 gate. He did get caught up in MFI gate, yeah? MI5 gate, he did. And now, for some reason, years later, because that Lizzie video is from a long time ago, and it's been said, it's been done. Like, it's been said, it's been done. I mean, this should still be held up against, like, why he's a grifter and a liar. This should still come up all the time. But I'm surprised that now in 2023, he's made a video just an hour ago about this.
16th of December, 1998, Alan Vinnicombe took the stage with Colin Sutton, an esteemed Scotland Yard detective superintendent. Now, obviously, it's the start of my career, and I was an amateur detective.
You were not an amateur detective. At no point were you an amateur detective. Okay?
So, to be an amateur secret agent, I made jokes about, oh yeah,
I used to work for MI5. No, MFI. It's a joke. MFI is a furniture store of rubbish furniture that falls to bits. It's flat pack, like before IKEA, but it's rubbish. But you get the joke. Oh yeah, I used to work for MI5. No, MFI. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. And that's my main joke I used to do when I went on stage.
You didn't go on stage a lot.
No, America didn't really...
Like, you did a stage thing with this guy, but you're not like constantly on stage telling jokes. It's not your main joke.
Really understand the difference between MFI, crap furniture, and MI5, brilliant detectives and agents.
Well, they did understand the difference because you categorically stated MI5, not MFI, and didn't turn it into a joke about furniture until months later.
Right? But it's a joke. And I've been dogged by this for 5 years, so I thought what I'd do, I'd dig out the coverage I had of making it when I used to do live shows, and here it is. Here's me telling...
When I used to do live shows, once set up a live show and a sequence of talks with this man. Like once, like not I used to do, like when I did a live show.
A joke. And I hope it puts it to bed now. I never pretend I'm MI5, MI6. It's a joke.
Like you did pretend and you got caught out and you turned it into a joke. And you are a joke.
MI5, MFI. Do you get it? It's just funny.
It's just funny. Talking of just funny, here's Alan.
I know you're thinking, right?
He's got a clipboard.
That Alan Vinnicombe, he works for MI5 or MI6. I don't, but I did work for MFI. MFI I work for.
Edited a bit there, but MFI, that's the joke. Let's hear the...
I don't, but I did work for MFI. MFI I work for. I got this...
Good joke, isn't it? No, it got a little titter, but nobody really laughed. And okay, so now you're retconning the past and you're saying it's a joke. Like now you're saying it's a joke. Like you said it's a joke ever after since you got caught out on it, and now you've turned it into a joke. Like it can be a joke. That can be a joke. You are a joke. That can be a joke. But it wasn't a funny joke when you did it on stage that time. And you still said it seriously in your stream that you were like before you got caught out on it. Like both things can exist. It can be a joke and you can still have lied about it.
Because I couldn't follow instructions. I kept making mistakes. Anybody over 50? Yeah, quite a few of you. Sorry, youngsters. There used to be this firm called MI5. And
if you have to explain it on the... Oh my God.
You buy something and it'll fall to bits. The best detective mind in the country, I think we can do it on the 16th of December.
In the West Country of England, where the Armchair detective tour started with Colin Sutton.
The tour started.
Famous Scotland Yard detective, and Alan Vinnicombe, famous YouTuber.
Alan Vinnicombe, famous YouTuber.
For true crime. Lovely day in Weston.
Look at this.
Live show. Something.
Why are you showing us this interior of a room?
Different. Live show about crime. Can it be done? We'll see.
What's this interior of a room?
This is Alan Vinnicombe trying to make a entertaining stage present.
Entertaining? This is interiors of empty rooms.
I know you're thinking, right, that Alan Vinnicombe, he works for MI...
Now you're repeating it.
As you see, on 19th of January 2019.
You certainly do.
So don't tell me that I said, of course they twist it around and put...
No, it wasn't twisted. It was you actually said it and then you twisted it. Like we were all there, we all saw it. But I think since,
fantastic setting.
You know, just you suggested it.
Amazing brand new ballroom with the acoustics.
It's quiet, Alan. Why are your broadcasts so fucking quiet?
Ideal place for a pilot show for Alan. And
a pilot show? I thought you said it was a big tour.
Blog on Facebook for many years on crime.
Who are these people? Hang on, wait. Who are these people in the picture? I need to take a bathroom break, but who are these people in the picture, Alan? Is that Colin Sutton? Is that Colin Sutton's wife, is it? I don't know. Who's this lady? Look at your face. Oh, look at your little happy face. Oh, he's having his little party. There's him and Colin. Who's this lady?
For Alan and Colin. Alan, a well-known blogger on Facebook for many years. On
It's so quiet.
You can catch up with him on the Armchair Detective, No Hiding Place on Facebook, where he's got this particular show. So many, and Colin will give
Okay. Someone's recorded it on their phone.
Two. I know you're thinking, right, that Alan Vinnicombe, he works for MI5 or MI6. I don't, but I did work for MFI. MFI I work for. I got the sack because I couldn't follow instructions. I kept making mistakes. You have to be at least 50 to know about that. Anybody over 50? Yeah, quite a few of you. Sorry, youngsters. There used to be this firm called MI5, and you buy something and it'd fall to bits. The best detective mind in the country, I think we can do it on the 16th of December. I've got to try and... It's Christmas! We should be doing a pantomime. Imagine that, a pantomime.
You are doing a bit of a pantomime. Unfortunately, it's not behind you. I suppose the best days of your life are.
Oh, he's behind you. It's Fred West or something. And you get shot to bits. What a pantomime that would be. Christmas special.
Who's doing this big laughing? Who's doing the big laughing? Only one person's doing big cackling laughing. Is there someone in the crowd that's particularly drunk, or are they trying to force it to go well?
Mate, Colin Sutton, the best cold case detective in Scotland Yard. Fantastic. He's more cold cases than I've had hot dinners. Colin's on ITV, he's on Sky, he's on CSI.
He's got his clipboard, look. He's got his belly tucked in, got his clipboard. This is...
on BBC, ITV, every channel you can imagine, he's sought after. Sky offered me a contract.
Yeah?
And I said, I'm not climbing up those ladders in this bloody town. See the wind? No, so I've not got a contract yet. But
No, don't start. You're going to stop scratching that, please.
I am on YouTube, 12 million followers.
12 million followers?
But I am on YouTube, 12 million followers.
12 million followers on YouTube. Is that right? Hang on, is that right, or is that a joke?
I've not got a contract yet. But I am on YouTube, 12 million followers. 20 million followers. Yeah. Some of them here tonight, welcome. How did I do that? This with a knife, but I don't know either. Anyway, I've got to warn you, I normally swear, but I can't tonight because it's like mixed audience. So what I've done, instead of the F word, I'm going to...
Hang on. What do you mean a mixed audience? Earlier you were saying younger people are there. You can't swear, but you're doing a true crime stage presentation about murders, and you think it's appropriate to have children in the audience, so you shouldn't swear. I think you'll be all right with swearing, since you're going to be discussing particularly adult content.
You say flipping, okay? So if I say flipping, I mean beep, okay? And if I want to use the C word, I'm going to say heck. So if I say flipping heck, you know what I really mean. But without further ado, little tiny pictures I get. You get big pictures, kind of little tiny pictures. Anyone know what family this is? Watts family. Only one of them is still alive. The father, the lovely father, this group were on social media, Facebook, every day of the week of their lives. She was selling health products. She gave off, look at our perfect family. 2 lovely children. Also, she's pregnant.
Suddenly the tone is just like, why would you lead in with gentle stand-up comedy and dad jokes before you go into this? I actually feel like, you know, when you see those stand-up competitions, you know, you see those open mic nights. Yeah, open mic nights. Yeah, big ups, Chaz. I'm going to be out soon because when my friends start in 10 minutes on the group think, I might just watch that and chill and have a chilled evening, get some foodies. I'm having quite a lot of fun now though, all of a sudden. So I'm just saying, like, this is an hour long, so we should probably do this as its own episode, maybe, like deconstruct the whole thing, because there's a lot of it. But Colin Sutton's probably all right, and Alan's probably awful. I haven't really looked through it, but to go from stand-up comedy, like I think like what would be really cool is to go to an open mic night and say, right, you know, that somebody does their jokes, somebody does their jokes, then you get up and say, right, anyone know this family? And just like straight deadpan, anyone know this family? And anyone in the audience? And so only one of them's still alive. The mother, she was on Facebook, right? She was on Facebook. You imagine, like, because you'd be on a comedy club stage, people would expect a comedy, like at first they'd be like, what? And then some people might laugh because they think it's like weird and inappropriate, and then it might take off or it might just sink. Why would you warm up the crowd for this? And like, how does he not know how to, like, to take people? Okay, so you've got a room full of people, and they're an audience, like live audience, and you're going to take them through quite a tragic, and you know, you need to set a tone, and then you need to have a way of like navigating and narrating. As a stage show, as like a presence, you shouldn't just stand up with a microphone and a picture and just be like, that one's dead, they did this, they've done that. Like, it's just not very good, is it? Phoenix Nights, big ups Marcus Hertz. Eat your heart out, Phoenix Nights. Shabba. It's very Phoenix Nights, isn't it? This could be like, you literally could get this as a comedy, like a sort of, in fact, I should do Armchair Detective as a comedy, like, but he's very Alan Partridge as well, isn't he? He's very Alan Partridge.
Flipping.
And yeah, this is savage, this is sick.
Killed them all.
You made a joke then, hang on.
Also, she's pregnant. Him, flipping egg. Flipping egg. Killed them all. Including the baby inside of her. He's never been in trouble in his life. Perfect husband. Fantastic. Bamber, no. No, so there they are. I'm going to show you a bit about his personality. If you're ready with the video, Debbie.
The video?
This is her best friend, Nicole, who she works with. Don't start it yet.
No.
Don't start it yet. Oh, this is so gold. This is so gold. Don't start it yet. It's so Partridge. Don't start it yet. Could you imagine paying money to go and see the famous YouTuber, and what they do is they play one of their famous YouTube videos on the tellis, on the big tellis for you?
Nicole here.
Oh, what's this?
On the health.
Like the stand-up comedy routine's down the pan now, isn't it? Now we're doing fucking dour horrible. Everyone's got to sit there for an hour and a half. They've paid their money. They've had their drinks. They've got in the mood. They're you know, ready to see the show. And everyone's now got to sit in silence, like dour silence, while you describe the horrific acts of Chris Watts.
With her. Not yet.
In this.
Not yet. That other guy, her son. She went on a trip with her and come back 2 in the morning, dropped off Shanann in that house, 2 in the morning. Next day, they're supposed to go to the doctors at 9 p.m. No show.
Look at him wandering around.
No show. Always phones a friend.
It's raining again.
Like,
I couldn't be happier. Swish and then whoosh.
Big ups LJ
LJ in
Cornwall.
Cornwall sent tippies. Thank you so much, Scott. Love seeing you and the mimps on my screen. Like the family I've never had. Lots of love to you and the best cult ever. XXXX Super Chuffer owes 25 hugs.
Thank you, that's loads. Thank you. The funny thing here is that Alan's got an audience, yeah? So what he needs to do, I don't know if you've ever seen a stand-up comedy or any form of talking to an audience, but what you need to do is you need to stand toward the front of the stage. It's like he's got the mic, right? People in chat said it earlier, he's got the mic in front of his face. Unlike his show today, he's got the mic in front of his face. But like, you need to stand in front of the audience and talk to them. Look to the left. See people over there to the right. Maybe if there's an upper gallery, there won't be an upper gallery here, but like, you know, look at the faces in the audience and talk to them, and mainly be in the center where they can all see. Sometimes walk to one side and, you know, play to one side of the audience, sometimes to the other, but in the main, centrally where they can all see, project your voice out. You don't have to scream down the microphone. If you've got a mic, you don't have to project so much, but you do, because the size of the room should dictate the size of your performance, so to speak. So like, an intimate small space, you don't need to be big and loud and shouty, do you? But a slightly bigger room, lots of people, you know, some moving of your hands, some showing, you know, like that. But you want to be like, you're not wandering around like some, it's like, could you imagine if this was Britain's Got Talent? Imagine this is Britain's... In fact, someone's going to edit that now, aren't they? Although Britain's Got Talent will get you done for copyright, but we need an edit of Britain's Got Talent with Ant and Dec at the side doing this, and him on stage, and then cut to Simon. One of you chuffers, I know one of you chuffers, Slinky Socks or like Regardation Police. Like there could be multiples. This will make a great edit for that. Like Alan on stage at Britain's Got Talent, cut with like, you know, and like, you know, this is getting the X as well, isn't it? Like.
This lady, right, is an armchair detective.
Where's he going?
She phoned the police.
He's like Joe Biden.
Gone missing. She's supposed to meet me now. She did that in 2 hours. That's what I want to remember. You're all detectives. Because the police haven't got time for all this. She reported her missing. At the time...
And now, yeah, what's happened is he's got a mic and he doesn't understand the mic technique. If you've got the mic... Oh, there goes that being said. Right. Okay. Got to have my brain on. I need to finish soon. So I just want to chill out this evening, to be honest. Or maybe I don't need to finish soon. I don't know what's the right thing to do here now. How long have I been on? There's the question. I've been on 2 hours, 15 minutes. I do finish soon. I will do this as its own separate episode, this stage show. But we're just going to, you know, preview it a little bit here. Look at him with his back to the audience, walking towards the fucking screen, right? Look at that for an example of your stage show. Back to the audience, walking towards the screen, shouting into the mic. If you mic technique, I do it a little bit now. I'm shouting into my mic a little bit. If you have the mic turned up so you can hear you talking, you don't need to shout. And if you do, you need to move the microphone away a bit. So you still get the projection of your voice, but not down the mic. But he's there, back to the audience, shouting down the screen. Look, you've got this picture on behind him. They don't know what it is. Someone's done a murder. They've come here to see the detective, Chris Sutton, talk about his life and times of being a detective. Yeah, he's got interesting stories to tell because he's been a detective all his life, and Alan is rambling on about a horrific crime that's taken the tone, like it's dragged the life out of the room, so to speak. Sorry about that. It's ruined things for the vibe and ambience. And there he is shouting into the mic back to the audience. It's almost like an avant-garde performance piece. Again, if you took this exact thing and just added like maybe a guitar and a drummer, just doing some freeform jazz and shit, then you could take that on stage and call it an avant-garde, like, you know, modern piece. But the reality is, it's just fucking diabolical.
Mr. Flippineck was out at his work, showing his two little children in an oil tank, dead.
Oh.
Just burying Shanann in a shallow grave. She phones him. Shanann's missing.
It's like the worst supply teacher in the world. It's like the worst supply teacher in the world. Right, I'm going to watch That Being Said, yeah? That's what I'm going to do. I keep shouting it out.
Your shitty playthroughs are all I need. I know you guilty, but you're meaningful to me.
Meaningful content, baby. It's meaningful to me, yeah. And we can all raid them.
You're hurting back.
How do I raid it?
Your Patrick goatee is
meaningful to me, yeah. We can all raid it and we can go and watch. It's just loads of people having fun, talking a load of nonsense. If you don't like it, you don't have to like it. I've driven my views up to a good number. You know, I should really follow this through and just watch another hour of Alan, but let's chill. We've got that for the future. That's always in the can. You know, we've always got that for the future. We did what we came to do here. We called him out for his lies and his bullshit. I'm going to see about... I don't know how to do a raid, but I know how to redirect. So I'm going to paste this in here, and I should be able to redirect to this. So at the end of the stream, it will automatically take you there. And there's some cool tunes, and then we're going to be having a chat about Darkside Phil and his nonsense from the week. Steve's on it, my friend and co-host from Thus. Can I give you a link to Alan's talk? Yes. And I suggest save this in case he deletes it, in case I'm going to cover it. He can't delete it now, can he? He needs to leave it up. But that's the link for that. That's the second link is Alan's talk, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to cover that, so don't worry about that. And I'm going over here to watch my friends what's happening? And it's going to automatically take us over there. Okay, so you be good, and we've got more to look forward to, more fun in the future. Thank you very much for all the tippies. I hope Alan watches this one. Most of all, I hope his spanners watch it. Because, like, you know, it's just not good enough, is it? It's okay. Let's go right back to the start, and I'll just finish this point. It's okay to watch somebody else on the internet, see that they've done something interesting, shout them out, say, tonight we're watching the video that Abby uploaded. They've got 56 subscribers. Shout out Abby. Like, it's an old dispatches from Channel 4, and like, give the context and then talk about it. You know, then to be confused about the football is another issue, because his whole point about there not being any football on was wrong. There was football on that night. And sometimes Alan does shout things out, so I suppose, like, when he does that in the future, you'll have to do that. But you need to show sources. You can't just steal content and pretend that you've made some clever breakthrough and put two and two. Oh, Alan sees it where other people don't see it. No, that's not what happened. Alan just raided someone else's content again. So he's a liar, and he's a grifter and a fraud. And, you know, if anything, Alan, come on our show. Come on any show together. Let's go. Like, now there's I'll tell you what, there's a good space for it. What about Genetic Codes and Lizzie and all them that hate you, but some of them don't hate you? And like, why don't we go on one of their streams? They can invite both of us on at the same time. They can have a bonza day on their stream with all the views, and we can get on, have a little talk to each other, and they can be like, well, actually, they shouldn't be arbiters, because they'll be on your team. Anyway, enough of that. You be good, and if you can't be good, look, let's get me and Anne on the stream together. I'm going to go and watch that being said. Hello. Steve of the Dead. Look, Steve of the Dead. Steve, my good friend and co-host from Thus, is on this podcast. So it can't be that fucking bad, can it, you chuffers? Which vest is podcast best? I look forward to seeing you there in chat. Be good, my little puckos. If you can't be good, you're naughty. And if you hear Alt on this, if you hear him saying you can't be good, you're naughty, call him out, because he's stealing he's decided to steal my finishing line. And call him out. Say that's Scott's line. That's Super Chuffers' line. If you can't be good, you're naughty. All right? That's Super Chuffers. Be good. And if you can't be good, you're naughty.